went to pick up my race kit, there was an agency there that was recruiting people for an acting campaign. And I ended up signing with that agency. So whenever I go to an audition, people at the audition would ask me where I'm from, and I'd say Hamilton. And they'd be like, oh my God, why would you live there? I just remember thinking, you know what? I'm gonna get a shirt that says, I love Hamilton, and wear it every time I went to an audition. And I came up with like 8 different designs, and I would take turns wearing the different designs each day. And the Hamilton is Home one is the one that everyone responded to. People had asked me where I got the shirt. I would get their phone number and I would make them a shirt and give it to them for free. And then when I got up to about almost ringing from like 8 in the morning till like midnight, and I'm trying to work, and I was like, I can't do both. And I remember talking to all my family and friends and telling them I wanted to stop working at my job and start doing this. And they all just looked at me like, you want to quit your job to sell t-shirts? And they actually staged an intervention. They were all trying to stop me. It was hilarious. I ended up quitting the job and I opened my first store. It's not even about the shirt or the hat or whatever. When people read it, it's a message that resonates with them, but it's really, really simple. And I think that's what makes it work. I've fallen more in love with Hamilton. There was this guy I was working with. He took me to a bar, Lion's Head, little local bar, and there was a guy sitting there.
Get ready to blast the past with Retro Game Time. Watch as gamers from around Hamilton battle it out in the ultimate retro gaming showdown. Who will outplay, outlast, and be crowned the ultimate Retro Game Time champion? Plus, don't miss our thrilling top 10 in each episode where we rank the unforgettable highlights and hidden gems of the gaming world. Tune in, level up, and catch Retro Game Time on Cable 14.
Go on, he's waiting for you. Go. Just go just this one time. He's a nice guy. He's not gonna hurt you.
Human trafficking doesn't always look violent. It often begins with trust, pressure, and debt. If something feels wrong, it is. You're not property and you're not payment. Get help. Don't want to call police, teacher, or their parents? Fear not. Crime Stoppers your answer. Anonymous and safe, always. 1-800-222-TIPS or crimestoppershamilton.com.
The Frontline returns Friday at 6:30 right here on Cable 14. I'll be sitting down with the chiefs of fire, paramedics, and police, and from time to time, some special guests to educate and inform you of what's going on in our city. Make sure you join us on Cable 14 or cable14.com, again, Friday at 6:30.
The following is a Cable 14 sports presentation.
Of Friday Night Baseball here on Cable 14. Cardinals home.
From far and wide, oh, can
And there is Brittany Brennan getting us ready for tonight. Again, the Cardinals home tonight to the Kitchener Panthers. Cardinals going with their alternate blacks. These Panthers in the gray with the light blue trim that we've seen all night. Raj, always good.
The old cliche, not a cloud in the sky, describes Hamilton tonight. It is an absolutely picture-perfect night for baseball. And all games are important this year. We're past the halfway point now, and man, the top 5 teams in the league separated by a game and a half, or 2.5 games at the moment. Hamilton just a game out of first. Really exciting times and a beautiful night for baseball. And as they all are, it's another key matchup for the Cardinals. And far back, but they can hit the baseball, Brent, and are always a tough opponent.
Yeah, they certainly can. They can hit the baseball. They can do a little damage on the base paths as well. We've seen that before when the Panthers have been here previously this season. You know, the Cardinals have got it done many different ways. They've had some great starting pitching. Alves in left field, Malik Williams at first, Zane Skansky's the second baseman. Yusuke Fuji is the shortstop tonight. Ratty Gross will be the center fielder. Josh Williams is the DH. Jackson Cook is behind the dish, while Matt Fabian is manning the hot corner tonight. It will be Luis Ramirez getting the ball for the Cardinals tonight. The guy that's thrown his name into the hat, and here he comes with the first pitch of the game as the Cardinals welcome the Panthers to town tonight. There's Ramirez looking to steal one on the outside, and that's a good way to start things off here. You know, Raj, there's no bad way to build a baseball team if you have a good pillar to build on. Feels like the Cardinals were a team that was coming into this year wanting to lean on their pitching, but the offense has been a big part of the story as well this year.
It has indeed. Second pitch in for a strike. Cardinals lead the CBL in ERA and defense. And if pitching and defense wins championships, Brent, they're in pretty good shape. But the Cardinals also just came off a multi-home run, 24.
Ramirez throws a couple of strikes and then gets a ground ball, and that is one of the you about tonight with the put out there. That is Dario Barrero, who you of course saw factor into that game where you mentioned the 20 spot that they put up. Anytime you can have a couple of those in a season, and well, we are halfway done, we're into the second half of the season, but there's still a lot of regular season baseball left. You're in a pretty good thing, or a good position. A couple of the moves they've had. Here's Ramirez with the pitch, unable to get one for a first pitch strike there. Your defense, when it's as good as the Cardinals has been this year, just want to throw strikes if you're a pitcher, and you see him do that. That one's going to end up dropping, might get past the left fielder Guerrero into second. Will he continue to third? Duncan actually comes up with it. Throw goes into nickel, which will hold the runner at second, and that's the first base runner of the night for either team, and the first hit we've seen in the ball game.
Solid double right into the gap where nobody can get at it, and yeah, it was almost a triple going across. And
Panthers had. We are just coming off of All-Star break a couple of weeks ago here. Of course, Chatham Kent did a wonderful job hosting that in the third iteration of the game. They blew things out with a little more of a skills contest in addition to just the home run derby, and Williams was the guy that was a factor there in the All-Star game. He's going to see if he can drive a run in here. Of course, the Cards would love to make that not be the case. Ramirez is going to rear back and deliver. Good job by McGill blocking that one as it gets away from Ramirez.
You mentioned the 24 runs this year. Now 24-6, 23-1. We did that game against the Maple Leafs. 11-1 against London. It does add up, but boy, that is pretty impressive.
I'm blanking on the team it was against. They also had one where they were up at 8 spot in the ninth inning, and they ended up faltering there, giving up 9 in the ninth inning and lost that one. So they also had a game where they were up 8 heading into the ninth. And did great job by Dominguez coming up, throwing. Great job by McGill. That's the second time we've seen that in a matter of weeks from those two. That is great defense behind the plate and great defense in right field. First baseman that you've got there tonight, Barrero, that's a big boy, and it snuck past him. We will see how the Cardinals defense lines up here. It's Guerrero, Duncan, and Dominguez in the outfield, and then on your infield, it's Rainy Reyes at third, Brandon Nickel at short. The second baseman tonight is Darlin Herman, and then that was a challenge of asking the throw to be perfect. That's exactly where it was. Saw McGill. You know, it's one of the understated things about the catching position when you have to be able to track a ball coming in from your right side, knowing the tag's got to get down to the left of you. But that was a great piece of business by the rookie catcher McGill, who was an all-star himself in Chatham Kent this year. One of several Cardinals that was represented in that game. We're into the second half of the season now. we're into the second half of the season now for these teams. You got the regular season, which will wrap where the Cardinals are. You mentioned where the Panthers are. There's going to be a scrap for playoff positioning as we continue here with this last.
For Kitchener for sure. A lot of baseball to be played in a short period of time, Brent. Cardinals have a lot of games in a condensed schedule this year.
Certainly do. You mentioned the 5 teams semifinals. Of course, 1, 2, and 3 will have their spots guaranteed there. So, yeah, you much like we see in other leagues, whether it's the NBA, you want to get out of that play down position, or of course Major League Baseball with their own wild card system there. You certainly want to stay out of that. You want to get yourself in a 7-game series as quickly as you can and make it into the Final Four. So the Cardinals know exactly what they're looking for in the back half of the season here.
23 games in 37 days for the
season. There have been some dry spells there. Last time we saw him, he was hitting right towards the bottom of the lineup, 8 if not 9, and you see him here in a position to do some damage tonight.
Well, the Panthers were aggressive, and we'll see if that's going to be the mantra throughout
tonight.
Well, the Panthers were aggressive, and we'll see if that's going to be the mantra throughout the course of the ball game. They do have a very good offensive team. They've been involved in some high-scoring games, a lot of high-scoring games in the CBL this year, Brent. And I mean high-scoring football kind of scores.
Right. Yeah, it is remarkable when you go look at whether it's just team stats, whether it's the box score. We see the pick from Ramirez. That word, both runners advance after it seemed like they might have had him hung up for a second there.
Boy, that was a weird play to say the ball goes in. He's not thinking of running, and then all of a sudden, okay, I'm running. And then the play is let's tag the guy at second instead of throwing to third. I think if they had thrown to third, they might have been able to get the lead runner instead of trying to put the tag on the guy at second.
Yeah, that definitely looked like that was the case. And, yeah, Williams hung up all the way, which, to be perfectly honest, given how little that ball, second and third with 2 outs here, this Kitchener team, they're not afraid to be aggressive, not just in terms of sends, but on the base paths as well. Charge put into that one, but Tyler Duncan will settle underneath it, and that will finish things off in the first inning. Luis Ramirez has to skirt around a couple of base runners, but he's managed just to do it flawlessly, and there are a couple of hits, but no runs coming across for the Kitchener Panthers in the first inning there. Not exactly how Luis Ramirez might have drawn it up, but exactly how he likes it in terms of what the scoreline looks like, Raj.
The results were there. There's no question about it. A couple of hard hit balls there, an error on the throw that allowed that runner to advance into second and third base, yet got it done in a hard hit ball to center field to end the inning. So Ramirez gets it done. Picked up by his defense, because that play from right field to throw out the runner at the plate stopped.
Had a lights out start to his CBL campaign, but has been placed on the injured list here. After the first 3 or 4 starts of the season out of him, this guy was second in the league in strikeouts, and he'll be on the shelf now for a little while. This is backdated, like all IL stints are, but just going to prove how important a guy like Ramirez is going to be for this team if you want to have good pitching, and pretty good start there. And speaking of talking shop, there's Luis Bernardo saying, great throw, or at least that's what I'd be saying.
You could never have enough pitching.
There is the Cardinals lineup that they'll work with tonight. Tyler Duncan, the man who made the final out of the first. He will lead things off in the bottom of 1. He's at center field. Brandon Nichols at short. Darlin Herman is at first tonight. Angel Guerrero will be in left field tonight. Here is number 5, Tyler Duncan. He's fluctuated a little bit, never really outside of 1 or 2, but they've moved him around a little bit to try to get him going. Picked up a home run derby crown a couple of weeks ago. We'll see if that can spurn off a strong second half of the season for the Cardinals leadoff man tonight. Here is number 5, Duncan, rocking as he gets ready to start things off here. Watching a high strike 1, and he falls behind early in the count. That's what you want if you're Rodriguez starting things off for the Panthers.
Can't blame the home run hitting contest for Duncan's power outage in the regular season. He's won it 3 years in a row. And one of those years was an MVP season.
Yeah, that's right. I have heard a little scuttlebutt around the for that. A lot of people would kill for what he would maybe classify a bit of a down season for him. Here is Duncan falling behind quickly, 0-2. I've been very impressed that he's been able to battle when this has happened, because he's been a patient hitter this year. Unable to do so this year, blows it right by him, does Rodriguez. That is a quick 1-2-3 on Tyler Duncan, which will bring up Brandon Nickel to the plate.
That's an impressive performance there by Rodriguez. Second pitch, Duncan questioned, talked to the umpire for a couple of seconds, basically asking him where was that pitch. It did appear to be on the outside corner. way outside on the corner.
There's the righty. Nickel showing bunt and squares it, gets the ball down to third, and it's a bobble. That's a tough play by the third baseman to make, and Brandon Nickel is safe at first for the first Cardinals base runner of the game. Talk about an aggressive Panthers team. Cardinals aggressive in a slightly different way. They're not going to run all over the place on you, but they are not shy to throw down a bunt and force the defense to be on their toes, and you saw that right there.
Don't blame Nickel for bunting. That was a beautiful bunt. A perfect speed on that. No opportunity to really make the play, even if he had picked it up. Nickel was just about 3/4 of the way down the line before the ball got to him. So beautifully placed bunt and first runner on the game for the Cards.
Darlin Herman off the hand in the week prior to that. So that ends with him upright, he's got to feel good about. But obviously when you're an all-star and the 3-hole hitter on your team, you want a little more than that. But he's been going through it from a well, not even a health perspective, because he's missed precious little time because of it. But he's been playing with fire in the batter's box, has Herman. Ooh, another high inside pitch. Does commit on this swing, though. And, yeah, that looked just all types of uncomfortable with the righty-righty matchup here at the plate.
Well, he's so used to being hit this year. That's probably whenever you're hit in the head, it's horrifying to watch. But hasn't missed any time, and he's been a trooper and right back in there now.
I had a chance to talk with him after the game on Sunday, and yeah, he's sporting a little bit of a black eye, but other than that, no worse for wear. So again, I think he considered himself pretty lucky, especially anybody who was in the park and saw what that looked like. Nothing lucky about that, though, as he ropes one into shallow left field for a first single of the game for him, and the Cardinals got something cooking here with runners on first and second after Nickel gets on board with the bunt, and then we see the base hit from Herman there.
Well, 2 ways to beat a team, more than 2 ways, but there are 2 of the ways you can beat a team. Bunting, smart bunt, and then just a solid base hit them where they ain't. Lots of empty space, and the Cardinals have runners at first and second.
This might be my favorite one, though, in Evan McGill. Rookie catcher coming into the league. There's so much to learn, working with different pitchers that you have very little to no familiarity with. And, I think a team would be happy if they could get a rookie catcher in that has caught the vast majority, if not all of the games like McGill has, that could just, perform defensively. Throw in the fact that he's worked his way up to 4 in the lineup and just kind of proof positive of how trusted he has become for this Cardinals team.
Catcher is the most important position on the team, Brent. I think most managers will tell you that. And when you're just because he's a catcher, and when you're doing it all like McGill, 100%.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt when your manager done.
You cannot fool around trying to tell him, well, you don't know what catching's like. Well, actually, I do, young man.
A thing or two, let me tell you, does Luis Bernardo. Here's McGill. Got a quick check, and looks like Nickel is going to go, and he does. He's going to get a chance to score here after McGill rips one through the gap, and Nickel is already in motion. That's going to make it an easy score at home, and you mentioned them finding.
Better than that, and executed perfectly, as you see there. McGill driving the ball into right field. Runner took off with the pitch. Got perfect contact and easily came home. No throw to the plate. And the Cardinals have their first run. A single, a bunt single.
Everything you could ask for. Dominguez was the defensive catalyst in the first inning, throwing out the runner at the plate. We'll see if he can add to it from an offensive perspective here. Big, healthy cut. He certainly wanted to, and that one is fouled straight back.
In the game against Chatham-Kent the other day, and after a slow start, maybe home run wise early in the year, they're sure making up for it, Brent.
Yeah, they certainly are. I believe 3rd in the CBL in long balls this year, and the way the season was trending, it certainly didn't feel like that was going to be the case. Dominguez, one of the players that went deep twice in that game, he has some massive home run power. Maybe not the guy you most expect to go deep, but if you took a straw poll of guys in just kept clipping the inside.
Well, pretty impressive. You're 3rd in the league in home runs as a team when you play in a park this size, too.
Yes.
You got to consider that.
Oh, it was especially doing those early season games we did together, Raj, where the wind was just blowing straight in. It felt like it was impossible to hit anything out of here for the first month or so of the season. And Dominguez
against the big, strong teams in this league, and the 4 teams they're battling for playoff positioning, really. That's what the league.
Cardinals bullpen, a lot of room over there. Going to be a tough play, and he's unable to make it. Will give Dominguez another lease on life in this at bat. Man, everything has been asked of this third baseman tonight. He had to make the play on the bunt chop.
Night, but when you get your glove on it, you think you're going to be able to catch it and talk to the umpire for. If that plays a fair ball, it's a tough call. Is it here or an error? But when it's a foul ball, it could also be an error because it does prolong the inning if he doesn't make the play. But when you've got to go back like that, combined with the sun in these conditions, it is a degree of difficulty for sure.
Well, not that you'd have a lefty playing third base. I don't think they're making many of those, but just given the handedness as well, it's the glove hand that's towards the fence that he's reaching out with. You don't even have the arm that you can extend there. And that one is fouled back right over our head. I was just joking with our PA man before the game. You can't get one in here without a bounce. And that one was as close as we're going to get, I think, this year.
Cardinals were running again, both runners taking off on the pitch. So a lot of confidence here in the ability of the batter, and that's not trying to steal a base, or two in this case with two runners on. That's hit and run once again. Cardinals are being very aggressive.
As gets all of that one, but hit on a line, but it's not going to be caught. We're going to have a chance to score at least one. Cardinals one. Will McGill be not? He will hold up, but another one comes across. It's Darlin Herman as Carlos Dominguez ropes one to left field, and the Cardinals add to their lead. It's 2-0 here in the bottom of the first at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium. Good piece of hitting by Carlos Dominguez.
Great piece of hitting. The left fielder tracked back against it, just couldn't get there in time. Went over his head. Tough play, did leap at the last set of hits. Started with the bunt single.
You never know what it's going to take to get the fellas going. Who knows? If it's a bunt single, whatever it may be, you'll take whatever it is. But the Cardinals, the manager checking with an umpire, very, very eventful first inning here at Bernie Arbor.
Well, this Cardinal offense has shown the entire season how prolific they can be, and they're looking at a big inning here.
Mario Barrero brings a couple across, and the Cardinals now have a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, Barrero, welcome to... Again, a tough play at the third baseman, and another hard hit ball off Rodriguez. That's 4 in a row, and I mean these last 4 hits have been smacked, and all 4 runners have come in to score.
Yeah, it's been a tough inning for Fabian over at third. You know, it's the way baseball goes. You could stand there for 6 innings without a ball getting hit to you. You can have an inning where everything is finding its way to you. He had the tough play over in foul territory, as you mentioned, the bunt play as well, and that one ate him right up. Hard hit ball by Barrero. Barrero, new to the Cardinals team, lefty hitter out of Venezuela. It was an esteemed international signing with the Chicago White Sox. He'll likely play a little bit of first. Also has some corner outfield experience as well. Look up at him, and I'm 6'4" and change, so that's a big fella the Cardinals have got in the fold. Here's Yomer Hernandez
as well, and still a runner at first here, and still only 1 out.
And one creeping inside on Yomer Hernandez there. Designated hitter tonight. You'll see him at a first base on occasion. Also a guy that can spell Evan McGill if they need to, but McGill will still be treated as the everyday catcher, and why wouldn't he be, given the job he's done, both behind the dish and at the plate as well. Panthers trying to eliminate or slow the damage here. It's been a damage-filled first inning for the Cardinals, and you know this has been the MO of their team. It does feel like they had some games early on in the year where it kind of was different positions. I mean, you see a guy in Darlin Herman playing second tonight. He's played a lot of first. He's also a DH in the All-Star game. So when you have a bat that can be shifted around and can do as much damage as that, you certainly like it. When you have guys that can do it at the bottom of the lineup as well, it's a manager's dream, because the only thing better than turning the lineup over to the top and letting them do some damage is having some guys on base that do damage for. That's kind of been the way it's gone for this Cardinals team here. It's Barrero on first. This is Hernandez up at the dish. 1 out. It's a full count. Here comes the pitch. Swung on. Barrero running as well. Safe into
stolen base as Barrero.
Catcher ran off the field. Panthers were all calling one another off the field. Luis Bernardo doesn't seem too exercised about it. He's given a thumbs up, so whatever explanation he got is A-OK with him. As all Dominican starting pitching matchup tonight, we just saw Rodriguez working for the Panthers, and now Luis Ramirez will look to continue things here. So we're going to get a look at the call here at second. It does look like maybe he came off the bag as the tag was held. That's best luck I got on that one.
See, the first indication from the umpire is safe, though. So he must have come off the bag, because that's what I was going on. You can see it in the replay. He was waving his arms
right away, and I mean, just to the naked eye up here, seemed pretty clear. Again, Luis Bernardo went out there, and he didn't seem to be too exercised one way or another. And you know, with whatever explanation it is he's getting, looks like a far from contentious conversation.
End the inning, but however, the Cardinals come up with 4 runs on 5 consecutive hits, and certainly Rodriguez has got to be feeling pretty good. finally out of that inning. 4 runs, 5 hits. And
yeah, Rodriguez will feel good to be out of it. Ramirez feels good to be living in it right now. As he's got quite the cushion underneath the tightrope. He's gonna try to walk for the rest of this game here. As you mentioned, it'll be interesting how Luis Bernardo handles his starting pitchers here. Does have the injury to be dealt with to Freisys Adames, but it's also a busy time in the schedule. So you're going to see how much he's going to lean or try to get some length out of his starters. It's been something he's kind of added to as the season has gone on. He's typically very shy to push how hard or easy a decision Luis Ramirez makes that for him tonight.
48-game season in a condensed schedule. We've already had some rainouts and smokeouts as a result of the wildfires, of course. Is that the season?
Yeah, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of baseballs lying ahead of you. Now, the good news, you mentioned how condensed that schedule is. When you're playing the way the Cardinals losing streaks in the CBL this year, but right now everybody just kind of in that mushy middle. The Cardinals riding one of the league's longest, or tied for the league's longest active win streak with 2. They're looking to run it to 3 tonight. Chatham-Kent going through it on the other side of things. It's been 9 straight losses for them, the last of which was the 20-plus run drubbing that the Cardinals put on them there. Ramirez delivering the pitch. That one is fouled straight back as that forces the count full at 3-2.
Well, and this is a professional league to last season in the Intercounty Baseball League, but pros are used to play.
Up for Ramirez, got to be comfortable there. And yeah, as you mentioned, Raj, with the condensed schedule, you're going to see the Cardinals probably lean on a lot of the depth that they have, and it's not just pitching depth, but offensively as well. And there's Herman making the play over to first for the
last year. Brent, and previous years in this league's history, there were a lot more college players, a lot more players, younger. They had not played a AA, a AAA schedule. So maybe, when you have a schedule like the CBL has this year, it's, wow, this is different. If you've played AA, AAA baseball, you're used to playing every day, never mind 23 games in 37 days. So I think that'll be advantageous.
He's saying something about the ball. I'm not quite sure what happened there with the home plate umpire. I thought he made a gesture to his mouth, but it didn't seem anything contentious. So I think they're just swapping out a ball is what happened here as we see Williams up at the plate for the Panthers here. Ramirez delivering the pitch. That one is inside. Gets a big swing and a miss from Williams. All of a sudden he's got 2 strikes. I should let everybody know if the crowd seems slightly more engaged during this at-bat, let's put it that way. With a strikeout, there will be a beer happy hour in the Steve.
I got 1 foot out the door.
Yeah. Oh, man. I would have thought a dog just ran into traffic the way this crowd side. Oh.
Williams tried to fool the umpire there a little bit. He was running down to first, clearly. The ball was, first baseman was there and touched the bag, but Williams kept running as if he hadn't, and the umpire had already called him out. The umpire looks at him and says, "You can stop running." "You are out, sir. Have a seat."
I mean, hey, get your steps in if you must, but we've already made our baseball decision here. Here's Ramirez with the first pitch of this at-bat. Caught that one in on the hands. Much less eventful than the first one, which saw a couple of base runners for the Panthers, but all of a sudden the Cardinals are cruising here with a easy inning for Luis.
Pitching for a condensed schedule over the rest of July and the rest of August in this league. You got to retire the side. Nicely done.
Yeah, remarkably efficient there. If you are in the building tonight, of course, you should always get in on the 50-50 raffle. But just because you're not in the building tonight doesn't mean you can't get in on the action. Just scan the QR code you see on your screen right there, and you can get in on the 50-50 raffle. That is in support of the Cancer Assistance Program, a wonderful, wonderful cause. And if you win, I mean, who doesn't love winning money? So it's a win-win if you're able to do it. Even if you don't, you're able to help out a good cause. So scan the QR code there and get in on the 50-50 fun. Cardinals be hard-pressed to do better than they did offensively in that first inning, but they're going to look to do exactly that, and it looks like it'll be Rainy Reyes, the third baseman, the all-star third baseman, that'll be kicking things off for the Cardinals here.
Well, and we talked about this team's offense, and fourth, though, Bernardo has, in home games certainly, trotted out the lineup in similar fashion. You go back a couple of games, Duncan leading off, Nickel, Herman, McGill. There's lots of flexibility there. It would not really change the apple cart at all if any of these guys moved up or moved down in the lineup, and that's a luxury for a manager to have.
No, it's also a great position to be in that if you are losing or you're getting dropped in the lineup, it is almost a factor of somebody else hitting ninth, and through his own performance, he's been able to rise himself up to that cleanup spot, and I think that's got to feel so good if you're a player on any team and count on the third baseman.
So it's early in this ball game. It's just one game past the halfway point of the season, but I don't think there's any question this Hamilton team is as good as anybody in the.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a fortress here. You don't want to come into Burning Arbor on a Friday night or any other night for that matter. This has been a team that's done a lot of its damage at home. There's certainly been a good amount of home cooking for this team. And yeah, you mentioned the teams that have been kind of traditional powers in this league. You've seen a London, you've seen a Welland. There hasn't been anybody that has that has seemed like a station above what the Cardinals have been this year.
Well, the top 5 teams are all excellent ball clubs, Cardinals included. Not going to be easy. And, of course, you have teams like Barrie and Welland.
Speaking of tough, I think that's what Rainy Reyes is thinking about.
The 2 teams I just mentioned have won championships the last 2 years. I think that's going to be the real litmus test.
Yeah, it'll be a Cardinals team. You're not going to do it beating up on some of the lesser lights. You're going to have to go through a gauntlet to get there, and I think you'll feel good about that. Not only that you've been tested, but think of all the different game situations that are going to come up. Luis Bernardo, and whether it's how he wants to use his pen, whether it's how he wants to set his lineup, how much he can push a particular starting pitcher. He's going to have quite a few fact-finding missions for himself at the tail end of this season. It does feel that way. And Guerrero fouling one back, but unable to hold on to it as the Panthers catcher.
And let's throw Guelph in there for sure. They are good baseball teams, and when you're playing each other, those are the bigger games. Look, you always say you have to win them all, right? But what's more important, to beat the teams at the bottom or beat the teams you're directly competing with? And I think we'd all agree it's the teams you're directly competing with, because obviously you beat them, that's a loss for them, and those 9 games are going to be crucial.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. Doesn't matter what the league is. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And there's a tough play, or at least forcing it to be a bang-bang play was Guerrero, busting it out of the box. But that is a play made by Matt Fabian. And honestly, given the way the first couple of innings went for him, I think he's just happy there was a routine play over at third. It wasn't a chopper Bunny he had to get, but a couple of big boys at first base tonight in Barrero and Williams for the Panthers there. It has certainly been a couple of teams, or a couple of big fellas manning first over there in this ball game here. You now do see Tyler Duncan digging in at the box, falling behind. It was a quick strikeout for him in the first inning after falling behind 0-2. Duncan just
pile of runs. We talk about the offensive numbers are putting up, and Duncan is having an okay season, but it's an okay season for most players, not by his usual MVP standards, especially with the homers. If he ever gets cooking, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it does seem like the sleeping dragon so tough this year. And hey, when you're a 3-time home run derby champ and a former league MVP, that's going to happen to you. But he has really had to kind of nibble. He hasn't been able to kind of have the big hacks that you would expect. Although there's a pretty big one from him there, and that'll be the second strikeout of the game for him, and that will be the end of the second inning as the Cardinals Stadium.
That's a pretty nice second inning by Rodriguez after a rocky start. That's really settling down, taking a breath, and really took care of business pretty quickly. He got Reyes to strike out, Guerrero on the ground ball, and Duncan on yet another strikeout. So impressive indeed.
Certainly impressive stuff. As always, we want to thank our friends here, and where would we be without our friends at Armstrong Bird Food?
Sometimes the littlest things can make the biggest difference. Like nature brightening your day.
The kids running the bases, a favorite of many here at Burning Arbor Memorial, whether it's on a Friday night or whether you got a little weekend afternoon game. The kids love it. They get to get their energy out around there, and the way the
Cardinal players react to it. And listen, it's a pro league, and there's no question you have a preparation, and there's a little tiny tot there running around first base. I think someone's going to have to help that little one go around, but she's moving. She's moving. But the fact that the players embrace it and have some fun with it, and that is a very important thing for them. And look, they're just they're encouraging her to go around the bases, and that's part of the fun. And yeah, sure, the pitcher wants to warm up, but end of the day, it's all about fun in this league, and good on. She's getting a big hand as she goes through. That's all good, and it's part of the fun. of the CBL here in Hamilton.
One of the maybe slightly less heralded pitchers of the Cardinals. They've had so many good performances this year. He's kind of come on as the season has gone. This is the 7th appearance out of him this year. Not all of them have been starts. So again, here did the Cardinals. So I think you'll see Bernardo have a better understanding of how exactly he wants to use his his pitchers in the back half of the year. Because Ramirez is a guy that started out as more of a reliever for this team, but has become one of the trusted starters for Bernardo.
Well, and especially with Adames out, he was officially placed on the IL today, retroactive, as you mentioned, to his injury date of June 21st, progressing but not ready to return to game action, or to work him back into the lineup a little slowly with Ramirez pitching as well as he is.
Yeah, you certainly can, and that's the way you want to start things off, with strike one in the top of 3. If you missed it, Cardinals doing all their damage at the start of this game, scratching 4 across in the first inning. That's been all the offense we've seen. Some great defensive play, and we'll see if we need another one here from Angel Guerrero. He ranges back and makes the catch for the first out in the top of the 3rd. Outfielders have been busy tonight in this one. Saw the good play from Guerrero there, but also defensive play of the game that we've seen thus far. Dominguez with the throw at light to any of them. It's quite the battle for what's been the best facet of the Cardinals game so far.
That was a nice play by Guerrero. He tracked that ball well, and hard hit ball, and stayed with it right off the bat and never really hesitated.
Ramirez getting right back to work. That one going inside, and good smart take by the Panthers batter as they look to continue things here. We see all the time in terms of the platoon advantages, but the lefty here will see if he could do a little damage against the Cardinals starter. Cardinals tonight looking for their 3rd straight win. They've been on a bit of a tear, and most of that's just from the 20 runs they put up in Chatham-Kent the other day. This is a pretty good place to start. Ramirez with a ball there, falling behind 2-1.
And further, of course, to pitching depth, the Cardinals also announcing Scott Gillespie's signing earlier, as that ball is fouled off. Right-hander out of Sherwood Park, Alberta, was released by the Welland Jackfish earlier this year.
But happy to find a new place to play some baseball here, and also, Welland, quite the organization, as we mentioned, one of the ones you look at as a pillar of success in this league. They've been one of the better teams the last couple of years, of course, with the title in the past couple of seasons as well. So,
and speaking of Welland, that's where the Cardinals will be tomorrow night, 6:05 start, rematch of their game July 3rd. Yan and Saldana, we really went at it in that game. And then Cardinals off to London. The sun is down, it's cool, little bit of a breeze. So we mentioned off the top, not a cloud in the sky, and you cannot ask for better conditions. If you're a ball player or a fan, and you alluded to the crowd, great crowd here tonight, especially down the left field line tonight.
Yeah, awesome crowd. It doesn't matter the level, doesn't matter the league. You start winning some games, and people want to get to the park or the arena. And I think you're seeing that here with the Cardinals. Here's Ramirez delivering. Ball's going to be hit over to Rainy Reyes. Relatively routine play, and he delivers the strike to get out of the inning quickly. Quick. The Cardinals are working here. I don't know if Luis Ramirez is working up a sweat. Doesn't mean he's not working hard. It just means it's been very routine tonight. And there's another quick inning for the Cardinals from a defensive standpoint. Really exactly how you could draw it up if you're Luis Bernardo and his club.
Well, and you look at the way Ramirez started, and then following a walk, since then, 7 consecutive outs in this game for Ramirez, and quick outs, as you said. Brent, couple of pitches per hitter, reducing the pitch count, and he worked. Deep ball to the outfield on that last one, and then another single down the left side, and the Cardinals played 4 runs, a 2-run single. The last one coming in courtesy of Guerrero, and that's where we're at here in Hamilton, and the hometown fans are standing and pretty happy about that in a 4-0 win.
Yeah, why wouldn't you be? We've told you a little bit about some of the new faces that we've seen on the Cardinals. Let me tell you a little bit about the starting pitcher the Panthers are rolling with tonight. Dionysius Rodriguez, a native of the DR. It was an international signing of CBL appearance tonight. It was a late season signing, joining them earlier this month, did he? So this is a guy certainly with some pedigree, and you know, when you go to a different league, sometimes different things play a little differently. We always talk about the importance of an understanding or a relationship with the battery there. So it'll be curious to see how Rodriguez is able to kind of build on things as his season goes along. Just his third appearance of the year that we're seeing tonight, because the numbers that you would see, and be careful with small sample sizes in this sport for sure, wouldn't necessarily match up with the eye test. Once he kind of got his feet underneath him after that first inning, it has felt like a pretty impressive pitcher is lurking there for the Panthers.
Well, he's retired 4 in a row. I mentioned 7 straight for Ramirez, but Rodriguez has retired the last 4 in a row, 3 of them on strikeouts, including Duncan, to end the last inning. So to your point, yes, I think we're seeing the real Rodriguez here.
Yeah, he's had Duncan's number in this game. A couple of swinging strikeouts for the Cardinals leadoff man there. This is Nickel up to start things off again. We saw the rally in the first inning that was started by Nickel laying down the bunt. Fabian playing pretty deep. You do wonder if he'll try him again. Only strike so far. You know, I know sometimes bunting, Raj, and you know we talk about this all the time regarding whatever team it is. It can be such a sticky topic for a lot of fans. Some people love it, some people loathe it, and Nickel's going to get aboard here with something that I guarantee you Rodriguez doesn't love. You give up some contact, a sticky subject for lovers of the game. People don't love to see it. They like seeing guys swing. What do you make of the bunt as a weapon, Raj?
I think a bunt as a base hit is just fine. I think a bunt as a sacrifice is overused, and I think that's where the distinction and controversy is, Brent. If you can lay down a bunt, the way
and foul. Nickel was on his horse though, and clearly trusting the bat-to-ball skills of Darlin Herman, and you know, and talking with some people around the team, he might be the guy that they trust the most in that situation in terms of a hit and run to just find a way to get some wood on the baseball. He has tremendous bat
about it, and that's one of the reasons the hit and run is on, of course, because you have faith that he's going to be able to hit that ball. So it's not really stealing a base, it's trying.
It would have been, and Nickel, but not shy about that. Now they're thinking about it. We see the first pickoff attempt of the game, at least from the Panthers. We saw the one from the Cardinals that ended up in shallow center, shallow right there. Him on base. Here's Darlin Herman. Got the hands waggling, almost Sheffield-like a little bit early on. There it is, Nickel running again. Herman, he's going to put it, a little further left. I was going to say that's almost the exact same spot he hit it the last time.
I was going to say, is that a replay? Like, that was almost exactly the same play and the same. That's how far he was at second base by the time that ball landed.
Yeah, he might have been at second base by the time that ball was hit. It was a great jump. Now, obviously, you'd be loath to see the hit and run here with 2 strikes and no balls. Wouldn't want to necessarily put Herman in that position, but we'll see how the Cardinals handle it. Secondary lead from
on the ball, and Herman certainly can do that. But boy, with the leads he's got, you never know.
And we will see if Nickel's able to get Rodriguez thinking about what's going on there. And great take from Herman at the bottom of the zone there. Really likes it.
Yeah, I don't think.
The hit and run seemed to be on still, and Nickel's going to make his way to third on a ball that couldn't have been a more tailor-made double play if there were runners on first here. But with the hit and run in play, Nickel's able to advance. The defensive player got pulled away, and all of a sudden the Cardinals got runners on first and third here.
Grant, it opens up the hole. That's another beauty of the hit and run play. Not only does the starter get the lead, he also finds with the batter gets a massive hole, and he found it, plugged it through, and that's textbook. Once again, we saw it again earlier in the first inning, and now both Nickel and Herman are 2 for 2 with singles.
But the command certainly does seem to be there for him. McGill rocking back and forth after taking the 0-1 pitch for a strike. Or sorry, the 0-0 pitch for strike 1. A late time call from the umpire there.
Well, Rodriguez was taking his time getting that pitch in, and the catcher and the umpire are now having a conversation. I'm sure the catcher feels the same way. Is like,
about catching is that you get to never show up the ump as long as you just keep your head all on Main Street there. The catcher, as long as you're facing forward, you can have as spirited a debate as you want. It does sometimes feel.
Well, you can do that, but you certainly don't want to make it a long night because you're together all night.
That's
He's
right.
on top of you.
There's Rodriguez going back outside, unable to find it. The count goes to 2-1. McGill, the catcher, up at the dish. Runners on the corner here as the Cardinals looking to add to the 4-0 lead that they picked up in the first. Here comes the 2-1 pitch Not worried about a steal of home and a 4-0 ball game in the third inning. And with the runner on third, I don't know that you worry as much about the guy stealing on first. It does feel like maybe the runners on the corner allowed the pitcher to just kind of dial in and focus on what's in front of him here. Trying to steal a strike on the outside, but unable to do so, and that'll run it to a full count.
Well, and throwing a lot of pitches, not only the pitches he threw to the first two hitters in the inning who both singled, but now
Nichols, the guy standing on third, but swing and a miss. McGill over the top of that one there, and McGill unable to pick up a hit, and he picks up the first out of the third inning here.
that is a big strikeout. We're looking for the route perhaps here tonight. So Rodriguez really needs to bear down here, and that's a big pitch, and he challenged and had to
just be a fly out, but if you're looking for somebody to hit something hard, this is a pretty good guy to do so. We saw him show off the strength at or on the field in terms of his arm here. It's been this section of the lineup that's been doing all the damage. Cardinals will look to do it. Runners on the corners, one out in the bottom of the third. A bit of a breaking or an off-speed pitch anyways that hung there a second for Dominguez. Just swinging underneath it was the Cardinals right fielder.
Yeah, Rodriguez really took something off that pitch. He's got 5
all the way around the horn though, and a run does come across the score. There's Nick
for Dominguez.
New Cardinal coming to the dish tonight. This is Dario Barrero stepping in. He's got a runner on first, and the hit and run seemed to be a popular theme tonight as we see it there, but that one ends up with a screaming liner at the Panthers center fielder, and that will wrap things up at the end of the end of 3 here. Cardinals have a 5-0 lead thanks to one more in the third inning. We'll be back with more Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14.
My name is Kenzie.
The War Amps have provided financial support for many of Kenzie's different devices, which allows her to be an actor. It's amazing to see that she's able to do all of these things. We are so thankful for your donations to the War Amps. You allow her to dream and do whatever she wants to do.
Thank you.
Gaming Showdown. Who will outplay, outlast, and be crowned the ultimate retro game time champion? Plus, don't miss our thrilling top 10 in each episode where we rank the unforgettable highlights and...
On this episode of Mavericks, we meet a Hamilton physician whose work centers on the most anguishing edge of medicine, a world most of us can barely imagine, where childhood, heartbreak, and courage meet.
Welcome back to Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium here. Beautiful Friday night in Hamilton. Beautiful night at the ballpark and beautiful night.
Count and that inning with 5 consecutive hits. Besides that, he has been pretty good.
Other than that whole thing. And Dominguez going to settle under that one, easily finding it. And there is the first out of the inning, an uneventful one. And that's kind of been the way she's gone for Luis Ramirez on the Cardinals side of things. Ran into a little bit of trouble. They were able to get away with a lone bit of pressure. You know, with the Panthers, they're a team, at least from what we've seen when they've been here on Friday nights in Hamilton, this has been a team that if they get on the base pass, they can wreak a little havoc. And a little miscommunication there among two guys who are used to playing first base. But Darlin Herman tells them, get out of here, and makes the play. And it's another quick couple of outs for Ramirez. That has been his MO tonight. And we see it here tonight. No, we're watching the Cardinals game, not the Jays. That looks like Ernie and Vlad over there.
Yuck. Of course, of that great play. Runner throwing it at the plate.
He's just been humming along here, and all of a sudden it is a quick 2 strikes that he's working with here. This has been a remarkable inning, and Ramirez would love nothing more than to say, yes, let's end it with a pitch right here. Comes the 0-2 pitch, Ramirez rearing back, delivering, and it's a swing and a miss, strike 3. And that's as quick as they get in any level of baseball, folks. Impressive inning from the Cardinals starter, Luis Ramirez. It is 3 up, 3 down, and those Cardinals red-hot bats get to come. Ramirez there. Very, very impressive stuff from the Cardinals righty.
No doubt about it. Ramirez now with 2 strikeouts, and after that first inning has retired 10 in a row and just the 1 walk. So impressive indeed. around the CBL tonight, 3 games in addition to this one going on, and they have some significance, of course, in this extremely tight race at the top of the standings. Barrie is in London, and those 2 teams battling for first place. Jackfish tonight, and I know the other 4 teams, in addition to Hamilton, will be cheering on the Leafs tonight. That game is scoreless at Christie Pitts in the bottom of the second inning, and again, another big one when you consider what's at stake in the league. And Chatham-Kent is certainly, as we scores, highlights.
I know there will be some people point to the all-star hoopla surrounding that. Sometimes you just run into a tough bit of luck in this league, and luck was not really so much a part of it when the Cardinals are hanging a 20 spot on you like we saw. Cardinals will get things going in the 3rd inning. It is Yomer Hernandez here leading things off. Again, this is a familiar face to Cardinals fans. This player actually took over the catching duties for Luis Bernardo when he stopped being a Cardinals player, and will be playing a little catch this year when Evan McGill needs a blow, but also can play a little first base, and they'll need that at Columbia, I believe, at a international event at the beginning of August. So Hernandez, certainly a guy that they will find a way to get in this lineup, just like they have tonight. That check swing was unable to be held up, and it is a 1-1 count on the designated hitter.
Talking about a former pro who's been around, Hernandez actually played with Mason Fluharty and Lizardo Estrada with the Vancouver Canadians a couple of years ago, and was a Cardinals leader and average in his first go-around with the club.
League where the offense shines through, and when you have a team that's put up a 20 spot a couple of times this year, I guess we shouldn't be too surprised here in Hamilton.
No, there's no question the Cardinals' offense has been great. Now, we've talked about it, that's a little proportionate. They've lost a couple of 1-run games against some of the league's top teams that were, never mind 20 runs, they could have used 5 or 6 to come out on top. But yes, impressive indeed, and lots of bats, and Hernandez is just going to add to that.
Yeah, and this is what you've talked about as well, Raj, the idea of being able to, continue things with not just your 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters in a lineup. When you get down Duncan, if he can break out, it's crazy what that could do to the complexion of this offense. That one's flared over into right. Will the right fielder be able to get there? Diving play. Any Panthers right fielder there.
Zapiri with that nice catch, and that was a difficult play, but he had it all the way, came up, showed it in the glove, and a terrific catch here for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Zapiri making the play there. That is a guy you do not want to let get going on the base pass. He has just wreaked some havoc this year. And it's not even just in terms of raw stolen base numbers, but you will see it. If he gets on base at first, he is...
Made a nice play defensively, but yes, you want to keep him off the base pass for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing about that is always so underrated is that one is chopped to first base, and Guerrero will finish the inning there, unable to get anything done. Cardinals still continue to lead 5-0 after the 4th inning here, but we talk about all the time the athleticism from an outfielder, whether it's the range to get to the ball or the arm that we saw from Dominguez. Also the jump, though. Back at it tomorrow. They'll be playing Welland, one of the teams you got to be careful with in this league, and certainly a team that will have an impact on the playoff race one way or another. So coming up, that is tomorrow for the Cardinals. They have a date with Welland. Wanted to let you know that. But yeah, it is one of those things you. And also, before we get going back to the game, I did want to.
My first professional glove, that's the one I remember the most. When I was coming up, even though it wasn't that long ago.
And there's a look at the man who's on the mound tonight for the Cardinals, Luis Ramirez. There have been a lot of impressive performances, but none better than the one you've seen out of him tonight. The Cardinals righty really looking to pick up the slack for a staff that has seen a pretty big injury to Frazis Adames, and Ramirez just picking up exactly kind of where he's left off. Maybe not as much of a strikeout pitcher as Frazis. Adames is, but I don't think a manager.
Breakouts, 1 walk, and he has retired 10 straight hitters since that walk with 2 outs in the first inning. So yes, you are taking that every single time for sure.
Here is Arati Gross, the center fielder for the Cardinals. He's leading things off in the top of 5. Josh Williams and Jackson Cook, the DH and catcher, also do. Game goes along, and Ramirez showing no signs of fatigue or anything along those lines. But it'll be curious how hard or how deep into the game Bernardo tries to push him, just because of that busy schedule here. And that one is looped.
Sunday, he would like to see some length from Ramirez, 100% really well. And you keep the number of pitches down, that dictates. We keep looking at innings. It's not innings, it's number of pitches.
Yep.
And you pitched deep into the game. If you can keep the pitches down, you can pitch much deeper into the game, and that's what you want. And starting with this weekend 3-3 and against back-to-back of the two of the teams that are in that battle for first place, you better believe you want your starter tonight. You better believe you want your starter tonight to chew up some mileage.
Yeah, and Ramirez, wonder if he forgot what it was like to see a base runner over there. He says, let's get this guy out of here. Throwing over with the pickup.
Kitchener be aggressive on the base pass in the first inning. Almost worked out for him. Maybe too aggressive with the runner thrown out the plate. But Gross was definitely running there. There is no question. Got a big lead, and he's at second.
Yeah, we'll see how much attention they pay to him over there. We do see Nickel. He's crept in aggressively behind. Good pitch by Ramirez, though. Big cut from Williams. And all of a sudden, he got a first strike of the at-bat on the Panthers DH.
Hey, this is the beer guy, right?
That's right. They're chanting, "We want beer." They were. Now, last time, they got the quick 0-2 on him, but then the ball was chopped to the first baseman, Barrero, at first, and they were able to make the play. It's the second. I certainly wouldn't blame you.
I want to get out,
begrudge you.
Check out the fans, see some of the enthusiasm and everything.
You go full Harry Carey. Just do the show from right field, yeah.
This is a big at-bat. You can tell because the umpire's talking. Okay, we know what's at stake here, so let's call timeout and take your time and get it in here.
Let's all get dialed in. Ramirez checking at second. There comes the pitch. Unable to strike him out, but it'll tap back to Nickel, ranging over to the second base side of the bag after he was holding on the runner.
An audible groan when that ball was grounded, even though it looked, but that's going to be an easy out. Then you realize, there's no beer. But when the out is recorded, the very fine Hamilton fans cheer the home team. But off to third is Gross, one out here. In
on the hands again. Going to be a tough play to Nickel, ranging over to the third base side. Fires a strike to first, but that will bring a run across. And the Panthers are on the board with their first run of the night. It is now 5-1 for the Cardinals here in the top of 5.
Nickel had a look at home plate, but saw Gross, and with his speed, of course, we saw it when he stole second. It's a hard hit ball. That took a bounce. I don't want to call it a hard hit ball. And look at Gross at third base. He takes a step back, and he is barreling in. So Nickel makes the right call.
Yeah, there was barely a second thought there, and hang a little tighter into the grass as well. But up 5 in the 5th inning, you take the sure out and move on. Feels like a very easy decision for Nickel to make there, and that's what you want out of your veteran shortstop.
Infield would have been in.
And there it is. A little damage is done, but Ramirez continues to cruise here as the Cardinals have a 5-1 lead heading into the bottom of
this organization. Then Goldman's Appliances, and it's Goldman's Appliances night here at Bernie Arbor Stadium. Fans have a chance to win a brand new washer and dryer. That's a great prize, courtesy of one of the team's top sponsors. Cardinals thank Goldman's for their great support. Congratulations to whoever is going to leave this ballpark tonight with a new washer and dryer. That's a great prize. And thanks to Goldman's for their continuing support of the Canadian Baseball League. And it's just part of the fun. Always a promotion, always something different here.
Tagged his buddy and his dad here for wrestling night. He was here for Farm Day last weekend. Whatever you want, they got something different. And if the baseball isn't enough, and I'll be honest, it should be, but if it's not enough, there's usually something else going on here. But the baseball more than enough tonight as the Cardinals have a 5-1 lead.
So you used to go to Dominico Field at Christie Pitts. You must have heard my voice on the PA.
Raj, you've been a voice in my head longer than I think either of us would like to admit.
That's actually a little freaky to hear, but I spent 35 seasons at Christie Pitts, and yes, there is no question. CBL, IBL, and listen, the league is different this year. Brent, there is no question, but what I love is, even though it's transitioned to a professional league, the level of competition has gone up, and the level of promotions and marketing has gone up, but the link in the history of the league has not been lost.
No.
It's still there. All the record books are there, and I think it's a perfect transition. So I agree with you, and Hamilton is right up there now, atop the top. And listen, I'm going to be quite frank about this. I spent a few nights at Bernie Arbor Stadium way back in the day, and the level of the operation here is exponentially better than it's ever been, so it's nice to see.
Yeah, it is a job that they have done here. Tyler Duncan, he'd like the night to go a little different than it's gone. It's been a great night offensively for the Cards, not so much for him. A couple of swinging strikeouts. He would love to change that here. And starting it off not the way he would like. Looked like he tried to pull back on that one getting him a little inside, but he turned, and it is a swinging strike one on the Cardinals leadoff man.
It just shows what an excellent offensive season the Card going.
Well, it grooves that one into center field, but it's too deep as it goes right to the center fielder. Nice diving catch by Roddy Gross, who we saw come across to score the alone run for the Panthers in this game in the last frame. And Duncan still looking for his first base hit of the night, but moving things in the right direction. Some good contact from the Cardinals center fielder there.
That was a nice play by Gross to get over there in center field, and he's had a pretty good.
He had his fingerprints all over the last inning, assisting on every putout that we saw in that inning as well. So he's been pretty active in the last little bit of this game, has the Cardinals shortstop. Here he is watching the pitch. It's a cut on that one, fouling it off, and that'll bring the second strike of the at-bat for Nickel. Going to be in a bit of protect mode here.
We talked about the Cardinals defense leading the Canadian Baseball League in total fielding percentage. Has been as great as it has been.
Yeah, it's amazing how you can sit there and throw strikes if you trust what's going on behind you, especially if you're a guy like Ramirez, who's not necessarily going to run up the strikeout count. Speaking of pitching, we haven't seen much traffic in the bullpen. So a whole bunch of guys standing around by the Cardinals pen, and that one is hit into the gap by Nickel. Will he be able to turn for two? Bring a rally on.
Nickel now 3 for 3, and he puts it perfectly into the gap. See Rodriguez with the kick up as that pitch left, and immediately he runs to third because he knows that ball has been hit a long way. Got into the gap nicely, and Brandon Nickel.
From the Cardinals for Rodriguez. He's done a good job kind of mixing speeds, avoiding too hard a contact, but Nickel certainly running into one with that double to the gap.
Well, they 2, 3, and 4 spots in the order, and make it 5 spot in the order, I guess. For 2 with 2 RBIs, and that's the chunk of the order right there.
I just had to chuckle at that one. Darlin Herman, not a big walk taker, and when he's taken one, he even had a turnaround of a look of like, oh man, you know how unclose that's got to be for me to not let one rip here. Nickel gesticulating over there at second, trying to get in the head of Rodriguez, the Panthers pitcher, and Herman fouls that one straight back over our heads.
Well, Cardinals can always use a few more runs. There is no question. They have a lot of confidence in their pitching, and we keep talking about you want to put the foot down when you have the opportunity. And they'd love a couple more here. Runner going.
Certainly would. There's Nickel. He's going to have to head back. That one is over the head of the center fielder. Lost it, and it's off the glove. Nickel is going to round third. He'll have a chance to score. Herman's into second, and that's where he'll stay. And the Cardinals add to their lead. It is Gross loved. Got a little turned around in the lights. And anytime you're switching gears, and speaking of Goldman's Appliances, looking like a spin cycle there in center field. Not necessarily the place you want to be when just going off the tip of his gloves. Got to be frustrating for the center fielder there.
His back was turned. And the ball
his second hit of the game, and looking to add to the Cardinals what is now a 6-1 lead. That one's going to skirt to the backstop, and Herman's going to be able to get over to third with barely more than a jog, and all of a sudden there's a runner deeper into scoring position. Would score a run here.
So that one scored a double, both of them in 3 at-bats.
Sounds like an order I've had in an establishment before. We'll start with singles and we'll move to doubles. Is what it sounds like.
You're
to me,
telling
Raj.
stories now, buddy.
I'm just telling the truth. Is what
All
I'm telling you.
All right.
Here comes McGill. And third baseman moving in, both on the infield grass here, looking to cut down a run at the plate. What do you make of that decision making here? You know, obviously you want to take your sure outs, but can't let a ball game run away from you.
First and third baseman playing in pretty deep here. And of course, McGill is the kind of guy who can spray the ball.
The homers we've seen from McGill, he has just turned on him, ripping balls over the right field fence, what we've seen this year. So, yeah, if I was Williams over at first, I'd certainly be ready because McGill can absolutely turn on a ball, and they have backed him off just a little bit. They're just past the grass, but still quite in. More than happy to take a walk and pass the
prompt a visit to the mound. We'll see if that means a pitching change, but he exercised great patience there, and now Dominguez, who's already got 2 RBIs in the game, will have runners on the corner and another chance here to cash in. Hamilton leading 6-1 as we play here in the bottom of the 5th at Bernie.
Good outing from him, or at least mixing in plenty of good along with the hard contact. But he had moments where he was confusing the Cardinals lineup. But as you mentioned, it's that 3-batter pocket.
1 in the first, 6 in the second, 1 in the third. They lead Guelph 8-1 with Chatham hitting in the bottom of the 4th inning. So you know that the rest of the teams in the top 5 watching that game very closely. All the scores, highlights, stats, and more available at the Canadian Baseball League's website at cbl.ca.
Brett Reed, the 27-year-old out of Exeter, Ontario. Right-hander standing at 5'11". Another righty that they're going to go to in this one. This will be along with his 12 2/3 innings pitch. So this is a guy that they have trusted. You're already getting in the
bottom of the drove in another run in the 3rd, 1 for 2 with a run scored and 2 RBIs.
For as often as they've used him this year, the Panthers with Reed, this is the first time he's going to get a look at the Cardinals this year. So it'll be a bit of a feeling out period for both players. But Reed doesn't really have time for that. If the Panthers are going to want to come back in this one, they're going to need to stop the bleeding in this inning before putting together a bit of a charge. But it's Dominguez up, and it's runners on the corner. Cardinals with a 6-1 lead, just 1 out here in the 6th.
Here, way back when, Brent, to start the season, but Hamilton has followed with 3 straight wins.
It's gone. Wow, I hate to do that, folks. I feel awful for Dominguez. He deserves a better one than that. I was about to chastise the left fielder for losing it, but I did too. But everybody did, because it's over the fence. Dominguez putting a charge into one field to add to the Cardinals' lead. It is now 9-1 here on a Friday night at Bernie Arbor.
Yeah, last part of that call, he'll play for his grandkids, right. Not the first one. Left fielder's looking around. It had his hands up. I didn't see the ball either, so I don't blame him for losing the ball because I had no idea where that ball was. It's still kind of twilight here in Hamilton, and maybe the lights had something to do with that one.
It wasn't a emphatic look at me bat flip. It was much more of a almost bat flip that you saw from him there. So great piece of hitting from the Cardinals. Terrible piece of broadcasting by me, but it's a 9-1 lead for the Cardinals here. Barrero charging one, and man, you want to talk about balls getting lost in the night sky. It is hard to pick up, and you see it. That's going to be a fair ball after going. I think there's also that, but then he kicked it to the fence, and I'm not sure if it kind of got caught up there for a second. It almost looked like something you'd see at Wrigley, the idea of throwing your hands up, balls in the ivy. That was right on the line where he made contact with it, but the umpire was right on it, pointing to a fair ball.
Let's see where he lands with this ball.
That looks pretty.
The ball just is in fair territory. Doesn't really matter where the outfielder's body is.
No, of
where
course,
is the ball?
Yep. Barrero sitting on second here, just 1 out in the inning.
Well, I can tell you, I wouldn't want to be playing left field tonight.
No. I got a pretty good perch up here, and I'm having a hard time tracking it. So you do wonder if, as the sun finally goes away here, not that I'm happy to see it leave. Maybe it makes things a little easier. But yeah, a tricky half hour of light over here in left field, and I certainly do not envy anybody who's had to deal with it, including Penalve over in left field for the Panthers.
Well, in Penalve, it was probably in foul territory, but again, it's where the ball is as it's coming down to the field. And as our camera angle looked, that appeared to be a fair ball.
Well, it's also that, but I mean, what would they tell anybody? If you think the ball's foul, you should probably run anyways. And I think you got to field according to those same rules. So it has just been a tough night. We'll get another look at it here. Great job by the crew, and this is a slightly different angle. Again, it is right on that line. It's as bang a play as you'll see, but it's ruled fair. And the Cardinals cash another, or at least Kindes here, but uneventful. He's able to duck. Guy not helping him out. out, but when it's that clear, relatively easy scoring call to make. But I'll leave those distinctions up to you, Rod. You've done the job more than me, which would mean at all.
I am not the official.
No,
scorer
I
of this
know.
baseball game.
That we don't have a mic for the guys behind us, Rod. You're the conduit to them.
We
is the way
have
I
an
see it.
excellent official scorer here tonight. We do not need me being the official scorer. Thank you. I'm just repeating what he told me.
That's right, and I'm
Let me tell you, I know that.
Oh,
that play should have caught that ball.
Yep.
You know, if it's lost in the lights, you can tell a lot in a call like that how the player reacts as catch that ball.
Yep, certainly does. You're going to have to make an out if they want to get out of this inning, that's for sure. All of a sudden, it's runners on first and second for the Cardinals. Rainy Reyes, third baseman, up at the dish, catcher behind the dish.
Well, and Reed is going to sink or swim here because it's now an 8-1 ball game. It's the bottom of the sixth. Kitchener's got games piling up as well. And that bullpen looks like a picnic area right now. Everybody having a seat and maybe some sunflower seeds and a few munchies. I don't think we're going to see anybody winding up anytime soon.
Yeah, not the happiest of picnic. I wouldn't expect a ton of smiles over there, but I agree. Not anybody doing their Michael Phelps arm exercises. Hitting him right in the bottom of the 2 in the 27 on his back. He's going to make his way to first, but you want to talk about something not tickling. That's certainly it.
That was a sensitive spot to be hit by a pitch. You can see it right by the back.
Kind of almost kidney area there, yeah.
Yeah, and he's still trying to shake that off as he goes down from the 5th. 1 out. And Guerrero 0 for 2 has a chance to break into the hit category as well.
Yeah, pretty good time to break out of it. A deep ball scores a run here. You get something on the grass, and you could score at least 2. You would think with a little bit of understand the advantages they have in life, or at least the position they've been put in. Everyone's scurrying away from that ball, and the bullpen catcher getting out there to block it like it's his job, because it is. That's a good job of protecting your teammates there from the Panthers pen.
Make sure the pitchers don't get hurt. That's 100% correct.
See if Guerrero can straighten one out here after jumping all over one. Okay, we're getting warmer, almost closer to fair.
And that one bounces harmlessly in front of the bullpen, so the catcher can go up.
Catcher's got to go get that one too.
You know the game,
Really
just to
is.
see how on top of the players you are there.
Yeah, it's remarkable. That one nearly on top of Guerrero as he watches the ball inside for a 1-2 pitch. It's one of the beautiful things about baseball. You know, that little back and forth, the little play that you can have. I mean, we see it here all the time. I believe I see someone in the Cardinals bullpen signing an autograph for a fan right now, but it is the little interactions, the little moments you can have. I mean, you're a part of the game. You got to stay on it. It's why we give the announcement about you might want to pay. And frustrated. It looked like it would have been a ball, but he was unable to hold up, and that's the second out of the inning. Bringing up to the plate, Tyler Duncan. You want to talk?
Yeah, back to Rogers Center. Back in the day, the bullpen's under kind of every movement is tracked by the fans.
Well, remember when they had to build them the platform so they could watch the game?
Right.
Like, we should probably be able to see what's going on. Okay, here, we'll build a balcony for you guys. Yeah, a little bit of the whole bullpen's basically the balcony now. Remarkable stuff. Duncan watching ball one here. He'd love to break out of the schneid he finds himself in tonight. Hard hit ball last time out, but it was right at the center fielder. Bases loaded for the Cardinals leadoff hitter. Duncan fouls one right off to the side of the
playoff series at that. But I can bet you he is razor focused here and sees an opportunity and would love to get it going here a little bit.
Yeah, guarantee you he would. Bases loaded for Duncan. He finds himself in a 1-1 count, taking a ball and fouling a pitch off to his right up the first base line. That one goes. You hear the saying all the time, it's an individual sport masquerading as a team one, and obviously Duncan wants to do what his team asks of him and needs of him, but if you can get a little selfish and do something for yourself, this would certainly be a good spot to do it. That one just outside. Great eye by Duncan to watch that one, bringing the count to 3-1. You imagine a dangerous part of a Cardinals lineup that'll also bring a run across. That makes it 10-1 for the Cardinals tonight. Duncan walking, Barrero scoring, and now Brandon Nickel, the shortstop, coming up to bat. And we are getting another mound visit here, and I don't know where they found him. I don't know where he was getting warm, but somebody's making their way in from a Panthers bullpen here.
Yeah, that's surprising because nobody was warming up, and maybe he warmed up a little bit earlier and was ready, but the Kitchener Panthers are going, and they have plated 5 runs, and how big is that error now, especially when you look at what transpired after that. The error is followed by a walk, a hit by pitch, a strikeout for one of the outs.
The ball game there. I don't think he was happy to be coming out, but as you mentioned, maybe defense undid him there, but you walk guys and you hit a batter. Got nobody to blame for that plan when you go into a game. If everything goes according to plan, you'd love to go Rodriguez for 6, and then maybe you want to go to Reed after that. But it has not been according to plan. It is Ernesto Ponales coming into the game now for the Kitchener Panthers here, the third straight right-handed pitcher that we'll see. Not going to be hard to find because he's got a lovely, lovely teal glove, and he actually played second base for the Panthers in one game this year. So a bit of a jack of all trades is he. And if you're going to trust him to play second base, you can trust him to try.
Your kid, you just as soon throw strikes. We lose 13-1 or 10-1. Just, I don't want to use any more pitchers tonight. And here they are using another pitcher.
Oh, that's exactly it, and not the position they want to be in, and that's exactly what, if that's what he found himself in here, because when you see them having as much trouble to find the strike zone as you have, and you're up in this spot, you just want to kind of continue to pass the baton. Obviously, you get a meatball, swing away by all means, but I'd imagine you're going to see some pretty patient at-bats from the Cardinals until you see them throwing some strikes here, and you did on strike one of that at-bat.
Well, Brent, we talk about the offense being way up in the league this year, and Hamilton, one of the teams, scoring 20-plus runs a couple times this season. And it's impressive hitting, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of good hitters in the league.
Rolled out of Miami, Florida, his first season in the CBL. This is the 7th appearance they've seen from him on the mound this year for the right-hander out of Florida. Here's Nickel waiting in for the pitch. It's 1-1. Bases still loaded for the Cardinals. Nickel finding one, putting a charge into it. That one's hit deep to center field, but it looks like Grotti will settle underneath it, and he does. Nickel probably had a feel when he hit that one. The crowd certainly did, and that is another massive, impressive outing there. We will be back after this.
The Frontline returns Friday at 6:30 right here on Cable 14. I'll be sitting down with the chiefs of fire, paramedics, and police, and from time to time, some special guests to educate and inform you of what's going on in our city. Make sure you join us on Cable 14 or cable14.com. Again, Friday.
My mother took me to the zoo. My love affair began right there. I wanted to know everything about giraffes, but there were no books. So I went to Africa to study them myself.
I was expecting Mr. Enos. You misrepresented yourself.
I certainly did not. I am A. Innes.
If I knew you were Miss A. Enos.
Prevented me from getting tenure, but my love...
Man or woman to study any African mammal in the wild. In 2019, she received the Order of Canada.
Back to Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium here. Cardinals with a big offensive output in the last inning, picking up 5 runs. It is now 10-1 for the Cardinals here over the Kitchener Panthers. We have seen a good pitching performance from Luis Ramirez tonight. He is still in the game while the Panthers have burned through 3 pitchers, and we'll see if there's a...
That one's fouled off. Last 4th inning, we even commented how fast an inning it was on both sides, and that bottom of the 5th inning took forever. 11 batters coming up in the inning for Hamilton with those 5 runs. The pitching change, the air, the home run, lost in the lights. Lots going on in that inning.
A lot going on. Ramirez picking up where he left off, though. It is a foul ball, but he picks up the first strike of the game there. And you see Ramirez working in the game here. He will look to continue in this one. You've got a guy in Ramirez that can give the team some length. He's already done that tonight. Now there is a Ramirez with the taken strike, the backwards K, and he starts off the inning. He has not been a strikeout artist tonight, but if he's going to frame pitches like this, look at this, the way this one cuts back in. Beautiful pitch by Ramirez there, and he picks up the strikeout looking after falling behind early in that at bat. From Ramirez. We'll see if he can do it all over again. And if you're going to mix in the strikeout, given the way everything else has gone for him tonight, you're certainly not going to be upset to see it. And here is Ramirez working with McGill in this one. And you'd imagine Bernardo, given that he started this inning, you would like to see him be able to get out of this one. But Danny Garcia may be the guy coming in. That's who's throwing in the pen for the Cardinals right now. Here is Ramirez rearing back. One is fouled off over Garcia's way, feigning to catch it off of the cage that they
by manager Bernardo.
Certainly will. I've seen this a couple times in this league. That's almost a little Soto shuffle we saw there on the watch pitch there. If I'm Luis Ramirez, I'm having the night I'm having. I don't need anybody Soto shuffling against me, but I suppose that's baseball in 26. You got to be okay with bat flips. You got to be okay with.
That's standard in baseball now.
Right.
Like, that was so shocking when it happened. And it happened. The reason, Brent, I never had an issue with that, it was in the pure emotion of that incredible 7th inning.
Totally.
That's now you're seeing people
picking up the second out of the inning for the Cardinals. But you're right. I mean, that did feel like a sea change moment in baseball. You know, it started out as this incredible thing, the likes of which you've maybe never seen, and now you're occasion you see it, and you wonder what exactly are we doing here. But yeah, it does feel like the Batista bat flip was kind of patient zero for where we ended up.
You could write a book about that 7th inning. Honest to heavens.
Oh, one of the most remarkable baseball moments anybody's ever seen. Honestly,
I was the official scorer of that baseball game, Brent. And the table was shaking like it was an earthquake with the noise in that building. 53 minutes took to play that inning.
There was the throw back that hit the bat.
The fight.
Well, I know that it's like when we think back on it, we remember bat flip. There are 1,000 other things that happen in that.
Russell Martin throwing it back and hitting the bat. The guy comes in from third to fight over that.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Just incredible. That one's chopped the nickel, who's been busy tonight. And I think it's safe to say Ramirez was confident that play was going to be made. Walking off the mound with his hand up before the ball was even out of Nickel's hand. And there it is, another quick run, runless inning from the Cardinals.
The strikeout king, as you mentioned, but 3 Ks, 1 walk, very efficient and really doing the job. So 100% Ramirez's effort, much appreciated. And again, with the games coming up, massive, tied 4-4 in the bottom of the 6th. That's a huge game as London enters the game just a half game behind Barrie in that logjam at the top of the standings. Welland up on the Maple Leafs in Toronto now, 4-0, top of the 4th inning, and Welland, of course, also in that mix. And Chatham-Kent continues to do the top 4 a favor as they are still handing it to Guelph. It is 8-1 Chatham-Kent in the bottom of the 5th inning. You get all the out-of-town scoreboard as we get ready for our next broadcast.
Yeah, we will, Raj. Some tells me we'll have some room for free-flowing conversations over these next handful of innings, given the 10-1 score in this game. Here is Darlin Herman stepping to the plate. It's been a guy that has been dangerous. It's been this Nichols, Herman, and McGill that have really done the bulk of the damage. I shouldn't shortchange Dominguez. He's right pitching. I do wonder if that's going to be it for Luis Ramirez. They still see Danny Garcia up and throwing. Of course, always possible. You just want to mix in a throw day, but given how busy Cardinals are going to be this weekend, I'd have to imagine you'd see him coming in. And if that's all she wrote for Ramirez tonight, what a line, what a performance for him. Only perhaps surpassed by what we've seen out of the Cardinals offense.
A lot of ground ball outs the way Ramirez was pitching, and he got a lot of them tonight.
Yeah, you certainly can. I agree with you. I think the only time where the strikeout has some credence in terms of, people really wanting to lean on it. We saw here on Sunday, Stephen Hospital came into the game to try to shut things down. He couldn't have pitched a better inning. It was ground ball after ground ball after ground ball, and they just kept finding a hole. And I think that's where you see people kind of lean on and want to see the swing and miss. But you know what else people like to see? Base runners. And that's
3 for 3, 2 singles and a double, RBI, 2 runs scored, and now the walk. Setting up for McGill, who's 1 for 2.
At the dish, it's a 1-0 count on him after watching ball 1. Here comes the pitch. That one's high as well. Seems like we're going to see a patient approach from these Cardinals hitters, and I wouldn't blame them given how effective. You're probably looking at a meatball here or there, but when you just have guys that are seeming to struggle hitting the strike zone like Punales has this half inning here, it's only natural to kind of, want to have the patient approach, but also, in a 10-1 game, you can get a little big and try to hit a big fly, and I do have to commend the patient approach you've seen out of the Cardinals as this game has gone on.
Well, there's no question about that. On the flip side, Kitchener and the manager sitting there.
It's Dominguez who hit a 3-run homer in his last at bat.
Okay, so we keep talking about the schedule, and I'm going to run down the Cardinals' upcoming schedule. for the folks, and I know the diehard fans know it. But so tomorrow in Welland, Sunday in London, Tuesday in Kitchener, Thursday in Barrie, Friday here against Barrie, Sunday in Brantford, holiday Monday against Guelph, and playing tonight. That's 8 games in 11 days.
Busy. Yeah, and I know people will debut.
So Dominguez having a big night. He is now 3 for 4 with 5 RBIs, 1 for 3 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. There's a chance to add to his totals now.
Yeah, Cardinals not the only team that's busy this weekend. Of course, Panthers also playing 3 games this weekend. They got Barrie tomorrow, and then they got Welland at home on Sunday. So far from an easy weekend for Kitchener, and that's why you want to see them just to try to limit the pitchers that they're using in this game. And it does seem like that's been the strategy here, although it didn't work out that way for Brett Reed, the second pitcher that we saw. Although they did give him a pretty long leash, he just wasn't able to make the best of it. Bases loaded for the Cardinals, no outs here.
Further again to this schedule, so it's back-to-back against schedule and where this race is going in the next 11 days.
Yeah, far from a make or break, but certainly a sink or swim maybe section of the schedule here. And you see the patient being made. Good hustle from Barrero on the chopper he hits. That'll bring across Herman to score, and it is 11-1 for the Cardinals, and the Panthers are still searching for their first out of the inning.
Wow, that's some bad luck there. That just took, ball kept bouncing and bouncing and bouncing. Pitcher got over to first, but you could see, there was no doubt, Barrero was racing down first base and just beats the pitcher to the bag. That simple. It wasn't the beating the throw. He beat the pitcher to the bag, and it goes from.
You're not going to see him throw up a stop sign here, but it does feel like we're getting to the station portion of the night here from the Cardinals. Not forcing the issue, other than just taking what's available to you. It feels that way, anyways.
It definitely does, and yeah, you want to score. It's every at bat is important to you, but it is getting ugly.
A new player or new again player to the Cardinals, has had some experience with this org before, obviously has plied a lot of time behind the plate. I would not expect you to see him supplant McGill by any means, but it is nice for them to have the option to give him a blow if need be, because he is going to be important for them. When you talk about that stretch there, maybe not a bad idea to find a day.
You wouldn't say the same thing. You could never have enough catching, but you need a couple of catchers. McGill has been terrific. There is no question about that. But Rempel is hurt. He was a catcher as well. Having another catcher is going to be crucial. Look, 8 games in 11 days is a lot.
Also, with McGill, strike on Rainy Reyes, who reached base last time in the worst possible, getting hit right in the back. No fun at all.
Nope, 0 for 2 Reyes is. So the bottom of the order is where the only time Kitchener's had any success. The 7, 8, and 9 hitters are combined 0 for 8.
Generally speaking, not the road to success is dominating the 7, 8, 9 hitters and letting everybody else feast. Not the way you want to build things
not.
Up. Ooh, that one inside on Reyes again. Ball's going to skirt to the backstop, and McGill is going to saunter his way.
A wild pitch. Just nothing overly impressive in this inning, but more runs as Hamilton continues to pile it on.
Yeah, I'm happy you bring that point up, Raj, because at a certain point, if the Cardinals say in this game, not say the Cardinals don't deserve some credit for the way they've worked walks and work counts and found a way to put the ball in play. That is what they do after all. But it does feel like you can almost live with it a little more if you're just getting blasted all over the yard. When it is death by 1,000 paper cuts, it does feel like it leaves a little bit more of a sour taste.
There is no doubt, and Pena is the pinch hitter here, so he'll get an at-bat as Guerrero will head to the bench. And let's see if Pena can be first.
And Co at the top to the game. Here is the pinch hitter, lefty.
Well, Duncan did get the bases.
Oh, that's right.
You're
right. Yep. That one works its way back in. Little off speed, finding the outside of the plate there.
Kitchener bullpen is up, and again, as I said,
it's a quick 2 strikes on the pinch hitter.
Just with the configuration of the stands here at Bernie Arbor, when that ball comes back, even though it never comes into the stands or into the press box, you still like
it really do.
Back.
I feel like you're right on
We're
top
right
of
on
it.
top of it here.
It is absolutely the definition of not a bad seat in the house. Pena getting a hold of that one. Respectively, Reyes hanging out at first.
That ball a jolt. I thought it had a shot off the bat and maybe getting out of the yard, but didn't quite make it. But it does do the job, cashing the run. And as you said, 13-1 as the beat goes on here for the Cardinals, and Duncan gets another chance.
Number 5, Tyler Duncan, leadoff man, as we mentioned earlier today in Chatham-Kent a couple of weeks ago. Picked up his 3rd home run derby title. Was hoping that could jolt him tonight. Maybe the walk and the last at bat can do that here for him as he finds himself with runners on 1st and 3rd and 2 outs in the inning.
Every at-bat has a value to it, and even in a lopsided game like this, Duncan would like to cash some runs.
Yeah, you certainly would like to see that. Again, runners on the corner. This is the 3rd pitcher that the Panthers have used in this game. There is a little traffic up, although they've stopped throwing now. I don't know if this is a last batter one way or another situation. While there, as the Cardinals have had another lengthy offensive half to their inning here. Duncan with another big cut, but unable to make any Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium. I love eating. I'm always a big fan of getting food, and so is everybody in the truck there. That's why I want to thank our friends at Little Caesars, especially the location at 280 Queenston Road. You can see them there. They're always taking care of our truck, or our crew in the truck, getting them fed, and because they're fed, that's why we're able to get all those wonderful camera shots. So big thanks to the people at Little Caesars Pizza, the 280 Queenston Road location.
And we thank Little Galleries. We have a lot of terrific volunteers. There's a good crew here, but it's largely made up of volunteers who believe in community television. They get here hours before the game. There's a lot of setup. There's a lot of hard work. And to bring a broadcast of this quality to you is not an easy thing to do. And they do a terrific job. So we thank all and
everyone here at Cable 14. Wonderful night by the Cardinals. Wonderful night by Luis Ramirez, whose night comes to a close. Danny Garcia now coming into the game. He's got the teal light blue glove on him, number 15 for the Cardinals, who will come into this game as the 2nd pitcher here. If you're Luis Bernardo, given how busy this weekend is, getting 6 innings and 6 relatively stress-free innings out of a guy in Luis Ramirez, got to feel.
Goman's great prize from Goman's Home Appliances. Emily Thompson, the excellent in-stands host, just making the announcement now, so somebody's going to be pretty happy.
That's a great prize. Your defense. Let's see if they can muster anything, because it just really hasn't been the case for the Panthers tonight.
No, it hasn't, and this is one thing the team does well is score runs on most occasions, and the bats have been quiet here. And Garcia, we talked about, Duncan wanting to, get off the schneid, get some more offense going in his at-bats. You got to believe Garcia wants to build up to 1 in the 7th inning. You don't want to start walking guys and giving Kitchener any life here as well. So let's see how he throws.
No, and after falling behind 2-0, he must have got the message from you loud and clear, Raj. There's a couple of quick strikes for Garcia, and all of a sudden it is a 2-2 count. You're right. Clean and work fast and work effectively. You imagine that's going to help you get into the tree of trust, if you will, for the Cardinals manager.
There's no doubt, and well said.
Yeah, Danny Garcia here. This is the 9th appearance you've seen out of him this year. The only players with more on this team are Connor Corey, Owen Boone, Stephen Hospital, and Caleb Sorosky, the only guys that you've seen more of. In terms of the pinch hit, we saw Gavin McLean warming up for them, so you'd have to imagine he comes in. I don't think you're getting anybody hot if you don't plan on using him from a for the Cardinals reliever. That one probably a little trickier than he would have liked it to be, but makes the play nonetheless as he has a chuckle about it.
Well, it was one of those in-between plays. He did a nice job, jumped off the mound right away, tracked that ball right away, but then had to make the quick decision. Am I tossing it to first to get the out, or do I got to take it myself? Kitchener batter was out of the box, and you see there's the funny hop, and then he takes a look. First baseman's not over there, and actually nobody was covering the bag.
He was going to flip it. As soon as he got that ball in the bare hand, it almost looked like the motion had started, but a good understanding of where he was and allowing his momentum to kind of carry him through. And yeah, that's part of what you get with a new teammate, right? Barrero's
110. I've started to lose count. I think it's plus 110, and now it's 13-1 tonight. Wow.
Well, the good news is, Raj, whenever anybody does math around me, almost always I just start agreeing. I'm like, sounds great. That's good. No, yeah, keep adding, keep subtracting, dividing, whatever you. Once numbers get involved, I'm just start blindly trusting people. So I will take what you're saying as gospel. Not that I expect it to be too far off from the truth, but yeah, it's remarkable. And you're right to point that out. You know, some teams that their record has been a slouch, and not that Garcia is either, as he runs through a team tonight thus far.
Well, and you know, the interesting thing, and I think I've got this tonight.
Yep.
They are plus 127. In the 9 losses, they're minus 17. So in other words, they win by an average of 8 runs a game,
yep,
and they lose by less than 2 runs a game, which is an indication that they are losing a lot of close games, which is concerning. On the other hand, how powerful is that offense to be on a consistent basis, just pounding the opposition? Now, 5-3 right there. And tonight, make it 54.
It's been remarkable. And hey, if you Luis Bernardo, that's exactly what you want to remind your team of look what we're capable of on any given night. And not just what we're capable of any given night. Again, not that you put up a 20 spot against anybody or talk very well for how you're doing in this league and what it's going to look like in the playoffs. And, you know, no matter who it is you're going to face when playoffs do roll around, should you get in there, you're going to be looking at a team that you can go back in the not too distant future and remember went pretty well for you. So you're kind of building that confidence as the season goes along as well.
No doubt about it. Our next broadcast here on cable, if this game goes any longer, we might need pajamas.
I was going to say, I wouldn't mind.
Want us to stay over for the night, or
I wouldn't mind putting on a little nightcap, having my candle to guide me through. Although we don't need them with the new wonderful lights that got put in this season. You see them shining bright, but not only that, have the light show going on when they bring in relievers late in the game as well. It has been and as you mentioned, just promotion after. They got the weenie of the night or the afternoon, I guess, and then the whatever promotion they're running on any given night. It's always a fun night here at the park. And I got to be honest, the thing that's made it the most fun this year has been the Cardinals themselves. When you're putting the record they have and the run differential they had and the big runs and the big scoring output, it certainly makes it a lot more fun. As just a Cardinals fan on the weekend taking the game in, the children love yelling, "You're a weenie," at whoever the weenie of the night is. I can tell you, they love it. They love it.
I love the promotions. I think they're great. I think the game day presentation here is really great, and I think it's one of the reasons the crowds are as big as they are. So, yeah. Pajama Party is next Friday night. It's Barrie. Not only is the game on Cable 14, but come on out and support baseball here in Hamilton and join the fun in the stands, and you get your tickets on the Cardinals website.
A rough go of it there. That one buzzed him inside. Thought it caught him on the shoulder, but evidently not, as he's going to hang in there. Luckily, that was some off speed that you saw at a game. Maybe you wear that one. Watch your lip, sends it right back, but right at the center fielder Grosso, and that is the second out of the inning. Couple of hard hit balls, but a couple of outs for the Panthers, who have got to be wondering, where was that earlier in the night? Felt like they couldn't get an out on a hard hit ball to save them, and a couple early on in this 7th inning.
First time Herman has been retired in the game. He was 3 for 3 with a walk, 3 runs scored, and an RBI before that at bat, and now McGill comes to the plate, and he's also having a good night. He has had fabulous control, but again, I talked earlier, what Kitchener wants, throw strikes. Yep. Let them, and we just saw 2 hard hit balls, but caught, and now is it 3 or a homer?
That one's very hard hit. McGill doesn't look like he got all of it, and the outfielder's under it, catching a beat, and that is 3 hard hit balls. Memorial Stadium, the Cardinals have a 13-1 lead. We'll be back for the 8th after this.
Remember that? You don't look much like a
White collar crime. My name is Zed. For Zombies, I am an exterminator.
There you go. That's fine.
Has been an adventure.
Our city is full of ambitious entrepreneurs, innovative businesses, every Thursday at 6 p.m.
I'm Rudy Walls, host of Hamilton's Vital Signs, a show where we talk about the many aspects of community life that make our city vibrant and inclusive, and a show where we talk about the many challenges that we collectively face. If you want to take a look, tune in Tuesdays at 7:30.
Welcome back here to Burning Arbor Memorial Stadium. Cardinals putting a thumping on the Panthers thus far tonight. It is third Panthers here, and Garcia in to work his second inning of the night. And you hear the crowd chanting, "We want beer." Williams is your beer batter tonight.
A lot of pressure on Garcia in a 13-1 game, but
you know, Williams, pressure player, hasn't struck out once in this. You know, if you're a true heel, if you're a true villain, and why wouldn't you want to be if you're playing on the road? Got to be nothing better than that sound of ah. And the first times you've seen it in this inning or in this game, they were outs, recorded, and still disappointed. This is the worst of both worlds. You get a Panther on base and no beer, or at least no half second with how big his lead is here. But obviously, given the state of the game here, you can let him wander just about anywhere he wants. Far from the concern is the second run in a 13-2 or 1 game.
And that will not be a stolen base, by the way. If he steals, that will be indifference. That is the scoring call. So if he thinks he's getting a stolen base in a 13-1 game, he's not. Unless the catcher does throw down an attempt.
Difference, so you wouldn't want that. And there
he goes.
Gone. And that's as indifferent as they come.
Wait a minute.
Sudden Williams is out. You want to talk about a comedy of errors there. We just talked about the defensive indifference. Williams had got all the way to first. I think it was so easy he thought he must have had to go back. Wanders off the base. A tag is applied. And you see it here. He's headed back. He's jogging to first. By pitches, we've seen walks, but that one's going to make you pull your hair out if you're a manager.
I have no words for that one. Is called strike 3 there on Cook. I'm making fun of the fact it's indifference. You're not stealing the base. He goes, all right, I'm going.
I can think of is he thought it was a
foul ball.
That's the only thing I can think of there. And
happy hour for that.
They should. That's hidden indifference.
There must be some written rule that if you get to second on indifference and then get picked off, however you can call that, you could still have the suds.
I've seen a lot in this game. I don't think I've seen that one that one before. That was interesting. So here is Garcia on the mound, delivering the pitch here after 2 outs. That one is right down Broadway. You're looking outside. He is just giving it to you right there. And of course, right as I say that, he hits the next batter.
Yes, he was throwing strikes, and now the umpire are going to come out and
off the arm. He has not been shy about walking out there, throwing
and waving
a pitch.
arms around.
Yeah.
Good. Another pinch hitter coming up here, looks like.
You want to talk about the idea of wearing one, finding a way to get on base. Quite the dip there. Certainly almost went out of his way to get hit by that one. Hey, if you're Kitchener, base runners any way they come. And as you mentioned, yes, the pinch hitter into this game here, bringing up the righty for a righty-righty matchup.
Trent Lawson getting the call here off the bench. So runner at first, 2 out. I'm still trying to get over that play at second base.
Let me know when it happens, because it hasn't happened for me yet, Raj. So you let me know if it happens to you. There is Garcia right down Broadway again. Yep.
Like, and sometimes in a game, the circumstances of the game force your issue. It's a tighter game. You don't want to use a low leverage guy.
Yep.
When the game is outlandishly in your favor, it affords you the opportunity. Okay, I'm going to give this guy an inning. I'm going to give this guy an inning, and you don't have to think about matchups, left, righty, big closer, a shutdown guy. You can just, not to belittle it, but throw anybody.
No.
And that's a good thing about pounding teams. It gives the manager that flexibility.
You know, Garcia's been one of the relievers he's gone to more often. Again, there's only 4 guys on the team with more appearances than him. Now, there's also 5 guys on 5 of them this year. This is the 9th time this year we've seen Garcia. But you're right. You know, there's no situation dictating what Bernardo has to do here, and we've seen that at times this year. You know, whether it's having to go to a Stephen Hospital, who's like that tonight, and the Cardinals have a 13-1 lead here on the Panthers as we are in the top of 8. And there's there's going to be a stolen base attempt, but instead it's just a strikeout, which will end the inning. It's another strikeout for Garcia. Really effective inning, aided in big time by the brain cramp from William. 2-1 here. 1 of 4 games going on. The Leafs trailing Welland. That's 5-1. Well, the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers still barnstorming away. It's 8-1 on Guelph, and of course 13-1 here in Hamilton.
So if the scores hold up tonight, Hamilton will move into a tie with Barrie. If Welland holds on to beat Toronto, Welland will take over first place. And London, leading Barrie, will remain a half game back. So Hamilton will be then tied for 3rd, and still a game of much to choose between the top 5 teams in this league, and we're seeing it again tonight.
Well, and as you mentioned, top 5 get into the playoffs, but really, if you're looking at it, you want to be in that top 3. 4 and 5 have a single game playoff to get into a 7-game semifinal series.
Not even a home game
right
after making the playoffs if you're number 5 and you lose on the road, and there goes your season. I like it, Brent, from the standpoint it really emphasizes the regular season, and I do get it. I'm just going to suggest that will be changed. I just get the feeling that that's going to be changed, and there are rumors, and I think they're more than rumors, that the league plans to expand quickly, and once it gets another team, a 10th team, they'll go back to the top 8 and end the series again. I think it makes sense for this year. It puts real emphasis on the regular season. That seems, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but I don't think that's going to continue.
Yeah, you play your whole year, and it comes down to 1 game. And as you mentioned, you're a playoff. Change in the branding, also the change into the professionalization. But this is a league with a long storied history, and it feels like they're kind of melding the best of both worlds there. I
think it's the quality of the ownership. We talk about the professionalism of the league now. The ownership groups, including here in Hamilton, of course, are just better quality businessmen, and I think that's going to be a big factor. I think you're seeing more and more entrepreneurs now falling in love with the idea of, I'd like to be kind of cool to be an owner of a baseball team or a hockey team in all sports. And we see it crazily in the professional level, where a great bargain in this league. So I think this league will expand rather quickly. I just think, they went from an era where everybody made the playoffs, and literally, when it was an 8-team league, everybody made the playoffs, to 8 out of 9, to the point of, well, what's the point of the regular season?
Right.
To this, where it's, only 3 teams get guaranteed a best of 7.
Yeah, you want to find that sweet spot, right? You don't want the other side of things either. It does feel like you want to find that middle ground. Once you get to that best of 7 and you're down to your final 4, it's amazing how big it feels. And the Cardinals would love to see themselves in that position. Jake Liberta on the mound now for the Panthers, another pitcher for them that we've seen tonight here. And they are running face here before the night is done, Raj.
I would imagine they'd give Gillespie an inning 3 for 4.
Far better performance than me, especially on the home run call that we all missed. So I will loop everyone in with me. But Dominguez rolling over on that one to third, cannot beat it out. And there's the first out of the inning, which will give way to Barrero. There's the swing from Dominguez there. You see him slipping out of the box a little bit. He's got wheels to make it tough. But once you slip out of the box like that, just not going to be able to force the issue at all. And doesn't need to, given the score of the game and the way things have gone for him from an offensive standpoint. But it doesn't mean you don't want to find every way you can.
Including that homer, of course.
If he could sign up for that for the rest of the year, he'd be a very, very happy man, that's for sure. This is one of the several new Cardinals that we've seen tonight. This is Barrero in the game here. Again, Colombia at the Central American and Caribbean Games. Those are being played in the Dominican Republic. So that's going to start next Friday. Finals will go on August 7th of that. So he will be away from the team for that short stretch. And again, you know, first base, one of the positions, I mean, they do have so much versatility on this team, but whether it's a Herman you throw over there, I know Rempel is hurt right now. He's been a guy that's played that spot for them. They also have Hernandez, the other one of the other new Cardinals there that can play that position as well. So certainly wouldn't want him gone, but they'll be able to overcome the absence. And he shoots that one into short. Great job by the shortstop to get to the ball, but unable to make the play deep in the hole. Would have been a borderline impossible one to make on Feliz, who was released by the team, and of course now Barrero taking the import spot there and showing to be a pretty worthwhile addition thus far for this team, given the start. And you know, I joked with you about this earlier on in the game, but he's just a mountain of a man. I had a chance to talk to him before the game, and he's just massive. I can only imagine. We talk about intimidating pitchers, and there are some guys, you know, I think of a guy like Caleb Sorosky on the Cardinals, just come at you with such long limbs and coming at you. He is an intimidating presence in the batter's box, and you've seen it work out well for him tonight. Bernardo, speaking of weapons, going into his cache of reserves a little bit in this one. We've already seen Yolke likely will pinch hit for Reyes. Of course, that's the younger brother of Brandon Nickel. We've seen him form a little bit of a double play duo at times this year with him playing some short. Looks like he is set to pinch hit for Rainy Reyes. The third baseman got hit in the back earlier in this game.
Another advantage, and hopefully Reyes is okay, by the way, or anybody else, but you can work guys into a game and give them the best chance to be successful, putting them in non-pressure situations, especially players you're introducing to the league. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, and you can only imagine how much that would help you. You know, you want people you can lean on coming into a new league. Who better than your big brother to be able to do that? This is a guy coming out of a very successful university career on the West Coast out in BC, and he'll look to continue that with the Cardinals here.
Like, there are a lot of weapons. The top three starting pitchers are excellent. The team defense is the best in the league. You have the best ERA and the best team defense. Fourth in hitting, everybody contributing. Great depth. You can mix and match at various positions. You look for teams, okay, so what's the Achilles heel?
No, if you had to point to something, I suppose maybe some people would point to the back end of the bullpen, but it's not as though that's a group that hasn't been able to get it done in the past. You know, I mentioned just on Sunday, Stephen Hospital couldn't have pitched a better inning. He must have got 5 straight. Yeah, there is a lot to like.
And is all high leverage situations, right? And that's again back to the run differential and the blowouts. They're not getting as much work. Maybe they're not as sharp, and that's a good point. And yes, they will have to be better, and I think it's one of the reasons they've lost the close games they have to the better teams in the league. I'm still saying the 9 games against Barrie and Welland, still on this schedule, is going to determine the fate of this team this year, at least regular season-wise, obviously.
Certainly does feel that way, and swing and miss by Hernandez, and that'll bring up the second out of the inning. Being hit by the pitch, so you imagine he's okay and fine, but anytime a guy gets hit in a sensitive spot like that, you certainly hope Reyes is doing okay as play for Reyes and just able to get him out of the game.
And I didn't want to speculate too much, but when they do get hit like that, he did stay in the game, and he came up again, and he walked. And when you have blowouts and a big run differential, you can err on the side of caution. If the game's 3-1, maybe you don't want to take him out. When it's 13-1, look, you got hit a little earlier. Let's make sure you're good.
Let's go take a seat and let Nickel the younger get in here, and that's what you see from him, falling behind quickly 0-2. He'll move into a protection mode. There's 2 outs in the bottom of 8 here. The inning continues for the Cardinals here. Runners on first and second. Yolke Pena coming up for his second at bat of the game.
That was a high throw.
That certainly that throw sailed on him there, and you know the adventures have kind of ceased here. But this is a guy in Fabian over at third there that has had his troubles earlier in the game. There was the rangy play he had to make in the left. There was the bunt from Brandon Nickel earlier in the game. There was the hard hit chopper right at him. He had quite a bit of an adventure in that left field there. Did make some decent contact with it. So we'll see if he's able to do something something similar here, looking to keep the inning alive. Tyler Duncan lurking in the on-deck circle. That one is swing and a miss for Yolki Pena, and that will bring the 8th inning to a close. And speaking of close, the Cardinals will be looking at it tomorrow, back at it again on Sunday. We will be back for our next broadcast, of course, at home here on Friday night, but you see it again on Cable 14. That's Hamilton and Barrie. That'll be coming up July 30th at 7:30 there. So welcoming the Barrie Baycats to town, will they be the Hamilton Cardinals?
Pajama party night. No further comment required.
You'll wear yours,
time.
Raj?
Well, are we?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to get the details on that.
You know, I got to
at Bernie Airburn.
Of all of the promotion nights that they've had, I honestly think the most unique one, they had a murder mystery night here, where a member of the Cardinals, again, it was a crime was committed. I mean, it's called murder mystery. Someone was fake. Don't come and call him, police. Begrudge anybody, just like, hey, that's worked. Let's copy and paste it going forward. But the Cardinals really do get creative here in terms of the way they keep everybody entertained. But they haven't needed to be tonight because the Cardinals have done all the entertaining on the diamond themselves.
Are we sure Sophie didn't kill that guy?
You know what? Good point. I can't say definitively.
I don't know. You never can tell, right? Yes, clever, lots of fun, and top-rate job by everybody involved. You kind of...
Really interesting. Not the most intrigue in a 13-1 baseball game in the top of 9, but new pitcher working for the Cardinals in Scott Gillespie. And, I think this is a guy that you can come in and get him results. He'll find ways to trust you more and more. So you would think maybe not the most to play for in a 13-1 game, but Gillespie, why wouldn't you want to get off to a good start with your new team?
Do you want me to talk about the run differential, and you can do that in lopsided games for the 4th time in an inning? That's another thing you can do.
You sure can. You can also throw strikes. That's the other boat. Yeah, why wouldn't you here? And we see Gillespie having to back off after time was called by the Kitchener batter here. Gillespie looking for his first out recorded as a Cardinal. Was released by Welland earlier this year. Gillespie missing low and outside. Good block by McGill to keep it in front of him. Not that it matters with no runners on.
And, being released from another team in the CBL is difficult to take, but it doesn't mean you can't pitch in this league and be a competitive member in a different circumstance. Always helps you.
So Cardinals shifting some things around defensively there after Nickel came into the game. Nickel playing second base now, so it is the double play. And we've seen it. We've seen him at second in this game. We see him at third now, and of course he has played plenty of this at bat as it is 2-2 with the count here as Cabral finds a way to stay alive for Gillespie.
Same thing for the Panthers being at the other end of a lopsided game. They're emptying their bench a little bit. That's 3 straight pinch hitters now.
Certainly are, and you want to do that. You want to keep guys engaged. You want to give somebody a chance. If the regular 1 through 9 aren't able to do it, you'd want to find a way. And there is the first strikeout for Scott Gillespie as a Hamilton Cardinal, strutting off the mound, picking up the first strikeout as a Cardinal for him.
Well, base tonight. A couple interesting plays down there.
He certainly has. Busy in that last inning, having to jump to make a play that he could not, and then had the chopper hit to him as well. And there's Gillespie working fast, working quick, and throwing strikes. That's what you want to see. So you get a look at a very happy Hamilton Cardinals dugout in there, and why wouldn't they be?
Well, and manager Bernardo having a good look at Gillespie and seeing
to come in a bigger leverage spot, but it's got to feel so nice to just come in kind of free and clear and just understand if you throw strikes, you're already halfway to doing the job that your manager's asking of you. Really good position to succeed in your first outing.
And Bernardo has an extra pitcher for the weekend.
Yeah, certainly
Somebody
does.
else would have to come in here and pitch an inning if he hadn't been signed.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't have got 3 out of 1-2 count, 1 out, top of 9. Williams at the dish, righty on righty matchup for Gillespie. New to the Cardinals, just signing him. Teammates, pretty good way to get some trust from your manager as you have a second strikeout in the inning by Gillespie.
Exactly what Bernardo wanted so far from Gillespie. Coming in, throwing strikes, in effect to the point of a couple of strikeouts, and now 1 out remaining here, and the Cardinals will lock up another lopsided win.
in the 29-year-old win, and they'll look to continue it with 2 more this weekend. The Cardinals are 13-1 winners at home over the Panthers tonight here at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium.
Well, once again, Hamilton gets it done in impressive fashion, and everybody contributing. And once again, the pitching does a great job as well in this 13-1 win. Finish off the ninth, 1-2-3. Offensively, everyone, well, not everyone, but most of the lineup with a good night. 3 hits for Brandon Nickel and 3 runs scored, including 2 singles and a double. Hermain with 3 hits, 3 runs scored and an RBI. McGill adding 2 hits, 3 runs scored. And Dominguez, probably the biggest bat in the lineup tonight. 3 hits, 3 runs scored, and 5 RBIs. And Barrero
knows, and he got hammered by it. Oh, he's cold. He doesn't like it. Emily was active tonight. She found a way to get out of it. I don't think Barrero knew that was coming. Normally, Soroski's got a guy looking with an eye behind his back, but Barrero getting the player of the game belt that they love to give out here. And Caleb Soroski doing his job. Wasn't active on the mound tonight, but boy, he had 1 pitch to throw, and it was a strike right on Barrero's shoulders with what I'm sure was a very icy jug of water or whatever they got going on down there. It's a fun night to be a Cardinal, that's for sure.
No doubt, and Emily Thompson interviewing him on the field level, and obviously a happy night for him and for the Cardinals. And yes, Soroski didn't fool around with that Gatorade, and that stays the same in the standings. They're scored a couple of RBIs, everybody contributing. I'm going on and on because that's basically been the case. The contender here in Hamilton.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, it doesn't matter who's coming knocking when they've come into Bernie Arbor at the very least. It has been borderline impossible to get a win out of here. Now the shenanigans continue. Emily Thompson, somebody handed her a water jug, and she was able to get Soroski. I was joking around with her about this on the weekend, so I know how good that feels. Maybe the person most proud of their performance tonight is her, getting Soroski with the water cooler. Wonderful performance by him, but honestly, I mean, you could have picked 7, 8 different Cardinals to be player of the game tonight, and Luis Ramirez absolutely one of them with the tremendous starting performance that we saw out of him. I believe we have Barrero on headset. Just let me know if we're able to talk. To the ice shower from your new buddy Caleb there?
Yeah, it was a lot of ice, but it was a nice shower.
Well, great job at the bat. How easy is it to be a hitter and coming into a new club like this when so many guys around you are also hitting? I mean, this team's really got it going.
Yeah. Everybody here is pretty good. Everybody here, they can hit. They're amazing. They're nice teammates. So I know they got the.
And I saw the moment you had at first base there where you and Herman kind of went for the same pop fly. Was he letting you know, hey, I play first base, that's normally mine? Saw you guys had a little laugh about that.
Up against 2 of the teams you're battling with for first place. No time for rest, but baseball players like to play every day, so I'm sure you're happy to have these games.
Yeah. We were trying to do our best. We know the Ortiz are coming. They're going to fight against us, so we'll
in Caribbean games very soon. So Cardinals fans are happy to have you with us, and good luck in that in a week's time.
All the best.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
There he goes, Dario Barrero. Awesome offensive performance tonight. Well deserving of the belt, but so were plenty others. Wonderful night here. We'll be back next Friday for another edition of Cardinals Baseball on Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14. Thanks for watching.
Oh hey there, my name is Steven Sobot, and I'm your host for Breaking Pack, the show that opens up the latest and newest trading cards to see what we can find inside these boxes. From Pokemon to Magic the Gathering to hockey or other sports to what other card game I get my hands on. Catch us on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Check out Breaking Pack here on Cable 14 to quench your thirst for cardboard addiction.
It was different, man. I lost a lot of friends that were killed, friends that are incarcerated. I have a lot of friends that have never left, like, our neighborhood. When I first got here, the Hamilton I saw was, I don't know, it was different. The people were just really genuine. There was no, like, BS, and I really liked knowing where I stood with everyone. I was working for an engineering company, and I worked 4 days a week, and I had a 3-day weekend every weekend. So to occupy my time, I would enter road races. One of the races I entered was the Around the Bay race. When I went to pick up my race kit, there was an agency there that was recruiting people for an acting turns, wearing different designs each day. And the Hamilton is Home one is the one that everyone responded to. People had asked me where I got the shirt. I would get their phone number and I would make them a shirt and give it to them for free. And then when I got up to about $500 worth of free shirts, my girl was like, we can't keep giving these shirts away. If you're gonna make them, you gotta sell them.
Let's give it up for true Hamiltonian, guys.
It got so crazy that my phone's ringing from like 8 in the morning till like midnight. And I'm trying to work and I was like, I can't do both. And I remember talking to all my family and friends and telling them I wanted to stop working at my job and start doing this. And they all just looked at me. There was this guy I was working with. He took me to a bar, Lion's Head, little local bar. And there was a guy sitting there and he drove like a garbage truck. He wasn't even part of our group, but he started talking to me. He found a rocking chair on the side of the road and he took it home and he sanded it down and painted it. And he was going to give it to his old lady for her birthday. And I just remember thinking that's the most genuine thing I've ever heard. And I think stories like that is why I love Hamilton. Home is where you feel most comfortable, where you fit in. Like, this is where I belong. I don't know how I ended up here, like, in the grand scheme of things, but it was the right place for me.
And from time to time, some special guests to educate and inform you of what's going on in our city. Make sure you join us on Cable 14 or cable14.com, again, Friday at 6:30.
Food in general is just, you need it for mental stability. And sometimes if you don't have that access to food, you just can go mentally in.
Visner, and we are here today at Play with Clay on Locke Street. I'm here with my cousin, the owner of Play with Clay at Hamilton, Isabel Visner. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
I'm excited for you to be here today. Should we make some stuff?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here.
Awesome. So this is great. I've got my paint set up here.
It always starts with a little demonstration, and then we're never too far to offer you help along the way. We also offer more structured classes, so if you want to learn the spinning wheel, that's something that we teach as well. We teach that as a single session or as an 8-week class. And then we also do parties, and we can come to you or you can come to us. We do lots of stuff.
I don't know about you, but I had so much fun today. Thank you so much for letting me stop by. So where can we find some more information for booking parties or classes or even drop-ins?
You can find us on our website. It's www.playwithclay.ca, or on our Instagram or any social media.
Awesome.
Julianne, it was so nice to have you today.
It was so nice. Thank you.
Let's blend the rules. All right. So today we're going to work on learning about gel transfers. So gel transfers are pretty cool, especially if you want to duplicate something and not have to draw it over and over and over again. So you have something that's like absolutely beautiful, but you want to make copies of it or print it on something else, and you don't have the materials that any kind of like industrial printer would have. This is a really cool technique. What we use is a matte, give it that textural look. So when you see paintings that are really, really flat, They don't use any gel texture medium. But when you see brush strokes and thickness and like all of that kind of like 3D textural effect on paintings, it's because they mixed it with this stuff. This stuff is also good to use as a glaze over top of your work. It comes in matte, it comes in glossy or semi-gloss. There's heavier versions, there's thinner versions. So check out your local art supply store. For all use it to for today is gel transfers. So this is another thing that you can use it for. So for this kind of thing, I have been able to take one of my drawings, blow it up, and then I printed it out on laser paper, which is important. Use laser paper, not your regular inkjet paper. It works way better. You get a darker, crisper line. Otherwise, it kind of gets faded. So what we're gonna do is print an image onto our canvas or substrate. So basically what we do is we take our image. What I forgot to do this time was to actually print it in reverse. So what you want to do is reverse your image before you print it out, because once it gets on there, it's going to be the mirror version of it. So once you have your image, you're going to make sure that it's the same size as your canvas. And we're going to take some of this stuff and we're going to... What I like to do is these brushes, a lot of the times the bristles will get stuck in it because it's such a thick medium and it'll leave brush strokes. You want a thin, very thin coating. Go in a few directions just to make sure that it's evenly coated all over it. And back. And then you're gonna take your image and you're gonna carefully place it on your canvas and smooth out every single crease and bubble. Sometimes I use a wallpaper squeegee that you can get at any hardware store. 12 to 24 hours. I like to give it 24 hours just so that it's done. Take a clean sponge. Never use the abrasive side. Only use the soft side, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna do little circles. So you wanna soak the paper first. Get my hair out of there. And then little circles, little circles. You're gonna do this for a while, and you're gonna start to see the paper ball up and start to come off. And you're gonna go at this, circles. This is kind of a meditative practice. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of like working in a dark room with photography, where you start to see the image appear magically before your eyes. I kind of love doing this because I get into this like zone where I'm just like, there's nothing else to do. It's like Zen mode. And then you've got this really cool thing coming out here now. Is almost like a shellac, and it's like kind of captures the ink in there, locks it in, so that all you're doing is removing the paper. It does take a bit of patience, but I feel like we could all slow down every once in a while because life is too hectic and we've learned far too much that everything has to be instantaneous. I think art is really great for that. And then usually this takes like a good 20 minutes, half an hour based on how big your thing is. What you're gonna get at the very end is your image on the paper or on the substrate without the paper. I left a couple of little spots here that you can see. That's totally normal. Once it's dry, you see what you still need to work on. Just keep going over it very gently. This is the thing, is I printed this on an inkjet, so it's gonna be faded. I like to use it too when I wanna blow something up and then put it on a bigger canvas. And it gives me the outlines so that if I wanted to paint over it, at least the outlines are there. The coolest thing about it too is you can layer it with other things. So I did like a background using a specific kind of Japanese paper, and then I layered actually coffee. I was dropping coffee stains all over it, and then paint markers and watercolors and stuff like that, just to like give it the kind of like grungy texture that I wanted. I made a stencil and spray painting techniques. You can layer this on layers on layers on layers. Like try this stuff out. It's super fun. You can find it in any craft store or especially like fine art supply stores. Like they have tons of it. And mix it in with your paints. See what kind of a texture you can get to your paints and stuff like that. It gives you a whole new dimension to play with. So thanks for joining us today. I hope you had a great time and learned something.
Sports is life. It's clear cut. Everything's out in the open. There's nowhere to hide. I had to prove myself more than anyone else.
You must be so proud of your son. He's gonna go pro. The sky's the limit.
And I did reach the sky.
Norman Kwam, the first Chinese-Canadian professional football player, still holds records to this day. He retired from the sport in 1960 and later became Lieutenant Governor of Alberta.
I'm Rudy Wallace, host of Hamilton's Vital Signs, a show where we talk about the many aspects of community life that make our city vibrant and inclusive, and a show where we talk about the many challenges that we collectively face. If you want to take a look, tune in Tuesdays at 7:30.
If alcohol builds a wall around you that doesn't let you see where you're going, that keeps you feeling isolated and alone, that makes you
host for Breaking Pack, the show that opens up the latest and newest trading cards to see what we can find inside these boxes. From Pokemon to Magic the Gathering to hockey or other sports to what other card game I get my hands on. Catch us on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Check out Breaking Pack here on Cable 14 to quench your thirst for cardboard addiction.
At gamblingisrandom.ca.
I'm here with Augusta Matson, the owner of La Bodeguita. Tell us about this place.
Well, this place got founded when I was 3 years old. Just kind of took it over from my parents. We've been providing Hamilton with all the Latin American products we can. We give them all the fresh cuts that are hard to get everywhere else, all the fresh food. We make everything as fresh as humanly possible, nice and high quality.
That's so many great products. However, I am very excited today. You do have some snacks I do want to try. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
Yeah, so these are Salvadorian pupusas. It's like, imagine like a thicker tortilla. Inside it'll have ground pork and cheese. And then on top is a topping called curtido. It's imagine coleslaw, but without all the mayo and all the stuff that makes it a little thicker. This is a little colder, it goes on top.
Okay, should we try it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. That is so good. Really hot and fresh. Amazing. Okay, well, I'm going to keep working on these.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
Third time, quarantining often with folks such as family members who might not be aware of their identities, they might not be supportive of their identities. So through our programming, when we reach out to individuals every week, there's a whole bunch of different issues that come up with everyone. Really anything that's going on in their lives, we're very happy to chat about whatever they want to chat about. Everyone on our team is made up of members of the community. So most of the time, the person that they're chatting with can relate on some sort of level because of their overlapped lived experience.
What do I like? I like open fires, moonlit nights, chatty letters, rainy days. I like daydreaming. I love this colorful little island of ruby, emerald, and sapphire. Yet often my dark moods come. I'm possessed body and soul by this depression. They say women shouldn't write. Some days I almost give up. But I cannot contain my imagination. I made Anne real. I gave her my love of nature.
Lucy Maud Montgomery battled depression, rejection, and sexism to become known around the world for Anne of Green Gables and 19 other novels.
Hey there, my name is Steven Sobot, and I'm the host of Hammer D20, the finest showcase of nerd culture and film review here on Cable 14. If you have any interest in any of the colorful parts of our lives, such as board games, video games, movie reviews, or anything in between, you'll find it here premiering on 6:30 p.m. on Mondays on Hammer D20. Hope to see you sooner than later.
Today on Hamilton Life, we'll tell you about an all-star basketball game united against violence called Rise Up, and women in music with Hamilton singer-songwriters Alex Worms and Melissa Dutch.
Hamilton cancer survivor Katie Ham talks about her treatment-induced menopause, and Crime Stoppers Hamilton celebrates 50 years.
We'll meet magician Christian Masha to see some tricks you definitely should not be trying at home. Plus, Hamilton Life's Harmony McKenzie goes on location to Blueberry Therapy to learn about pelvic health.
All that and more coming up on this edition of Hamilton Life. Well, welcome to Hamilton Life. Linda Rourke, Mike Fortune here with you. How is everyone doing? Allergy season. Mike, I am dying. Like last night, if I could take my eyeballs out of
you
my
would have done
head,
it.
I totally would have done
Put
it.
them on the dresser and put them back in the morning.
The other thing I want is that, you know, the things that you can like clean straws with?
Yep. Yeah. Let the
To trees, grass, and mold.
So why even go outside?
Well, because it's still nice to go outside.
Because it's still nice to go outside.
But it's crazy. And I didn't have them for a long time. Like, I think in my early 20s, I had allergies a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing horrible. And then sat dormant for years, and then they've come back with a vengeance. It's
Now,
brutal.
is this the only time of year, or does it come back a little bit in the fall?
It doesn't come, I don't get any fall allergies. It's really spring and then a little bit off and on through the summer, depending on what's going on.
But then it does
Probably
die
gray.
off.
Like, I'm sure there's other allergies mixed in there now. But now I'm concerned.
What did you talk about?
Right? Exactly. So I'm like, oh, I don't need issues there. So you just have to be careful to not over medicate with anything. But it's really hard because allergies can be absolutely debilitating for some people.
Moderation is the key, I guess.
That's true.
But again, yeah,
I've heard bee
if you
pollen's
are
supposed to be
really suffering, what else can you do? So listen, I feel for you then. I'm
Scratch,
sorry.
rub.
You're scratching and rubbing, and Dave just must be thrilled with the look you present, right?
That's
Like,
right. Yeah, it's not very pleasant
Not very
after I've been
pleasant to look
scratching and rubbing my eyes. So.
And I'm sure there are a lot of seniors out there that might be suffering from allergies.
For sure.
This is Seniors Month is June, kicked off a couple days.
Discount.
Thank you. My wife and I, when we buy tickets sometimes online for the movies, we'll buy the senior tickets.
Oh, look at you.
Well, because those kids scratching the ticket, they're not more than what,
No,
16?
and they're going to think you're a senior.
We look old to them already, so it's, you know what?
right.
More money in my pocket.
It's all in here. We're young in here, Mike.
We're young up here.
Now I'm noticing your socks.
Yeah, always known for the socks. This
Black
is
and gold today?
Black and gold. Oski Wee Wee. Ticats home opener starts this week. This is the year for a Grey Cup championship in the Hammer.
Oh, wouldn't
It has
that be
to
good?
Has to be. Some more maybe next year. We'll have to wait and see.
I
Maybe
don't
we'll
want
have
us to lose the CFL, though, the difference between the CFL and the NFL.
There are some beautiful differences. That's what makes it so uniquely Canadian.
Exactly.
And we have to keep those. So
We do.
maybe at some point we'll have Ron Foxcroft. Foxy will come in and give
Oh,
us
I'd
an
love to
update
see
on the
Ron.
rule changes and what isn't happening. So, but lots going on. You ready for a good show now?
You bet.
It's packed.
It is.
It's packed,
Always
and I'm looking
good.
forward to the magic.
Me too.
So with that said, after the break, my good friends at Hamilton Crime Stoppers are going to be celebrating their 50th anniversary gala. It's fast approaching, and we'll tell you why you want to.
Get ready to blast the past with Retro Game Time. Watch as gamers from around Hamilton battle it out in the ultimate retro gaming showdown. Who will outplay, outlast, and be crowned the ultimate Retro Game Time champion? Plus, don't miss our thrilling top 10 in each episode where we rank the unforgettable highlights and hidden gems of the gaming world. Tune in, level up, and catch Retro Game Time on Cable 14.
I found out to them and they just really helped me feel less alone and helped me feel validated in my grief, which has been tremendously helpful during a time when I've never felt so alone in my life.
Welcome back to Hamilton Life. The Crime Stoppers of Hamilton 50th anniversary Golden Gala will be taking place on September the 24th down at Marquee Gardens, Ancaster. Studio today, little story. I got to know and get involved with Crime Stoppers over 25 years ago when Myra James was sitting in a chair almost similar to this. And I did all these Crime Stopper presentations. So I know the work you guys do. But Ali, let's start with you. The importance of Crime Stoppers, especially in this day and age. The importance of it. Let's talk about Crime Stoppers.
Thanks for having us, Mike. So Crime Stoppers of Hamilton and Crime Stoppers in general, most people don't know, but it operates completely separately from the police service. Stays completely anonymous, and the advantage of that is that tip or the information they have about any potential crimes or crimes that are being committed or are going to be committed goes to the police, and all they need is that information, not so much who that or where the information came from. With that information, if that leads to an arrest, they're also eligible for a cash reward for up to $2,000. So again, it encourages citizens to come forward when they have an information about a crime, so that it could be reported to the law enforcement agencies, and then we can help. Absolutely, yeah. There's QR codes that you can sign that would take you directly to the tip submission platform. Again, completely separate from the police. Nobody knows who you are. All they're looking for is the information that you have access to, and that could
that small piece of the puzzle that could solve a crime. And Corey, you're with AIM Recycling. How long have you been involved with Crime Stoppers, kind of behind the scenes now?
So, actually, fantastic question and a great connection within the community. So, with AIM Recycling, we had sponsored the Chiefs Gala, which celebrated Crime Stoppers of Hamilton's 40th anniversary. And shortly after that gala, I saw the impact of Crime Stoppers. Ali took over as board chair, and I followed as vice chair. It's been 6 months in the making, and it's been some great. We've had some great developments. And what's nice is, for me, being introduced to Crime Stoppers with the 40th gala, and now being on the committee and helping drive the Golden 50, which is obviously 50 years of Crime Stoppers internationally. It's been a great development, and it's been a lot of excitement, a lot of impact, and an opportunity for myself personally, my company, and the people around me. For us, I mean, our goal is to bring in as many individuals from different avenues as we can, businesses, corporations, whether you're small or large, community members, Hamilton Police Services. We are focused locally. So we think globally, but we focus locally. We want to make sure that Hamilton stays protected, that the people of Hamilton feel safe, and that they can have a voice, right? So like we always say, see something, say something. This gala is a great avenue for community members, for business owners.
The Reg Why Not days.
Yeah.
And he was friends with my dad. I got to know Reg a little bit too. But those partnerships are so crucial, and how they have grown.
That's what it's all about. So to touch on Corey's point, it's really important to understand where it all started. So we'll take you back to 1976, where Detective Greg McAleese was involved with a murder investigation with no leads whatsoever. And he took it upon himself to send out an announcement that anyone who has information that would lead to an arrest of this. Yes, the program works. It's almost like someone always knows something It's just a matter of coming forward with the information without the fear of retribution. So going back to 50 years, and here we are, over 1,000 programs worldwide, and we get to celebrate it in Hamilton, the legacy of Crime Stoppers, by bringing the public, the law enforcement agencies, the media partners together to celebrate that. And that's why it's important, and that's why we're organizing it.
Yeah, and whether it be the Gordons V. Torrance Award, whether it be the Bill Stirrup Award, the list goes on and on about the number of individuals from the past who have helped grow this Hamilton, concerned about the safety, and they're not even taking the money, which, Corey, is kind of nice to hear too.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the importance of the program is, again, one, giving the people of Hamilton a voice, giving them an opportunity to step up and create a safer community anonymously. So it's difficult when you have, and whether it's youth or elderly, it's difficult when you're in an area that you don't feel safe or where you feel that your voice isn't enough. So to be able to anonymize, and the payouts and the tips is an encouraging piece to that, right? But over and above that, it's that feeling of, you know,
doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Doing the right thing.
This is my community. This is where I live. This is where I am.
So there's one thing that I want to leave the viewers with is come join us at the celebration of 50th anniversary of Crime Stoppers. Buy tickets, organizations come forward, get sponsorships, because the money that is raised for this, it goes back into the community.
All stays right here locally. Wonderful stuff. Ali, Corey, thank you both so much for coming in here.
It's truly here, Hamilton. So rather than looking at a couple of weeks ahead, let's look across the summer and help you plan for the summer months. June is Bike Month, and it's open streets on Sunday. An opportunity to go down King Street East, lots of entertainment, lots of activity hubs. It's a great day out, so that's June 7th. Franco Fest is coming to Gage Park June 19th to the 21st. And then the two farm crawls this summer. There's one on June 20th and then another on July 18th. Opportunity to go around to different farms in the area. And then looking into July, we've got 50 shows, 12 days, 11 locations. Yes, its Fringe Festival is August 28th to 30th. So with over 200 events and live music gigs every week, check out thevibehamilton.com, and then also check out what's coming up in the summer. And have a great summer, Hamilton, and back to you, Linda.
Thanks, Paul. Well, at age 46, my next guest never expected to be navigating menopause before her 43rd birthday. Katie Ham, so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Your story is really quite remarkable, but also not something that we're not hearing about. I have a friend that went through the exact same thing that you did, and I'm starting to
triple positive. Mine was positive, positive, negative. So I'm unable to take any type of estrogen creams. I'm not allowed to have basically estrogen in my body. It's a hormone that actually wants to kill me.
Yeah.
Still.
Just really quite remarkable, isn't it, when these things happen in our bodies to begin with.
100%.
But thank goodness that, you know, you were diagnosed, you caught the breast cancer, you went through your treatments, and then that triggered you into menopause.
It did. So it was after my radiation treatment. My doctor had said, we're going to start you on tamoxifen, which is a way to basically shut down your uterus and force you into menopause.
You know, we all generally have, but as you said, when it happens at a time of life where it's not generally supposed to happen, you know, what do you do? So what was the process that you went through?
So basically, I experienced a lot of hot sweats, hot flashes, the cold sweats at night, extremely disrupted sleep, which impacted my day the next day, every single day. I was also off work for a while because of my breast cancer, and right when I was ready to go back into the workforce, I was experiencing extreme brain fog, which is a side effect of menopause as well.
Yes.
Which then impacted my confidence daily at work. You know, it's just having that open conversation to say that you're supported and to make you feel included, even if you are going through something that's really, really difficult.
Yeah, because it's not like, you know, we asked for this. Like, honestly, I mean, I joke sometimes, you know, often with my husband or my friends' husbands to say, this happened to you. We would have had, you know, some sort of better support decades ago if men were going through this. Like, I'm really sorry, but it kind of is the truth, because it can just wreak havoc on your life, both physically and mentally. And you talked about some of those things. Great strides there, really helping these women get their lives back on track who are going through menopause. But that's something that you couldn't do.
Correct.
So how were they able to help you? Because of the brain fog, especially, you were saying that you were having like 25 hot flashes a day, and that wasn't an exaggeration.
Minimum.
Like, that's
At
crazy.
minimum. Yeah, so one thing I would say is that if you do have a doctor, I mean, as you know, I had breast cancer, so I was in the care of an oncologist, and he was amazing, and his role was to keep me healthy from a breast cancer perspective. But I was very loud about the quality of life that I had. Googled her, and she is unbelievable. It did take me 14 months to get that specialist appointment, which is unfortunate. But the good news is she always has people training alongside her, always these amazing young doctors, midwives and whatnot, always training beside her.
great.
So when I got to that appointment,
yeah, it's got to be hard.
I just really felt seen.
Oh, yeah. I know that this is emotional because you're right. Like, so many women are on that journey in some capacity. So for you to be able to say that you're finally being seen, like, that had to be such.
Within a day, it was gone.
A day.
It was gone. So I have no hot flashes anymore unless I get worked up. Like, I had a couple today because I was nervous. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's a great product, but like, it's not gonna like cure everything. You know what I mean? But no, it's like this. So without having the hot flashes and the night sweats, I have my cognition back, and my identity comes through my love for education, my love for my job, reading and whatnot, and all that was taken away. And now that I have a good night's sleep, I'm back to normal. It's better for my marriage. It's better for my sister.
Friend, she's breezed through, you know, like no symptoms at all, still sleeps well. And it's remarkable to me because it's not the story, that's not the story for a lot of women.
Right.
And so, I really appreciate you, coming out to tell your story as well, because that helps other women. So what advice would you have for those that are in a similar situation to what you've been going through?
Stick with it, advocate for yourself. Do research, know your own body, believe your body, and try to get yourself a specialist. And if you can't get a specialist, then maybe cancer treatment.
Wow,
So
that's really saying something, and that brings in the reality of what women will
and that
go
was
through.
my experience, right? It's not everybody's, but yeah, so for me, it's just been the worst part for sure. So I think that just knowing that for all the other women out there, that I hope you feel seen as well, because I see you.
So. Oh, what a nice thing to say, and I liked how you said, about being loud, right? Like, really
get loud.
Yeah, I liked that. Just using that word and really advocating for ourselves, and I think we're starting to see a very slow, sadly, but a turn in women's medicine and women's health issues, and we're now starting to study it because a lot of research has been done on to see a specialist or getting in with someone. It gives you a start. Also talk to your family doctor if you have one. So and really push and advocate. Be loud.
That's
Katie.
right. Be loud.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate you sharing your story with us.
My pleasure.
All right, when we come back, we'll tell you about an annual all-star basketball tournament in support of anti-violence at Hamilton's Montgomery Park. So stick around. We'll be right back.
We used to be best of friends. Remember that?
You don't look much like a criminal.
White collar.
My name is Zed. For Zardos, I am an exterminator.
Very good. That's fine.
It has been an adventure. I'm Rudy Walls, host of Hamilton's Vital Signs, a show where we talk about the many aspects of community life that make our city vibrant and inclusive, and a show where we talk about the many challenges that we collectively face. If you want to take a look, tune in Tuesdays at 7:30.
Hello, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What a great concept, and I know you've been doing this for a few years now. But talk to us about the behind the scenes and the money that's raised and the support that's given to your agency and the people you work with, who this is really going to benefit.
Who it benefits is actually our
community in a whole, because the proceeds, it's really just myself that actually puts it on, with the support of old friends and some local businesses that believe in the concept behind the entire event, is uniting against violence. We have those same youth that is actually out there doing positive things within the community and being a positive role model within the community, and that's what we're wanting to try and show. Kind of tired of having all the news just showing the negativity, and we want to have a spotlight on the good that's happening as well.
And you've been able to do that the last number of years. I know you've been on CH quite a bit, and that's great. And now here you are at Cable 14. Over the last number of years that you have done this, what has been the vibe been like, and what are you seeing in regards to the positiveness that?
Just because of the amount of DMs that I get from the All-Stars that participated previously, wanting to have the event back, and when it is happening, that has been actually the motivation, because it shows that they're looking forward to it. They understand the concept of becoming a role model for the younger generation, and that's the biggest thing. And having the we have Blended Barber, who has been actually on the show before.
Yes.
And he's been a part of this event for the last 4 years, and part of their community give back is actually coming.
Yeah, anything is possible when a community comes together, and nothing like taking it back to the asphalt, where for a lot of these kids is where it first started, playing hoops as young kids.
It's where I started.